Wow. You know, I've got so much to say today. Today's going to be quite interesting because, once again, I lost my voice kind of. And I got a story to tell, but I'll tell it in just a second. And yes, I know you can't see my face. I'm working on that, okay? I'm working on this. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let's see here. Oh, no. Yep, I thought so. Just bear with me. Trying to get this something here going. Wow, wow. 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 Sorry. I can't help it. This music has always got my attention. It's always got me like, I don't know, just like feeling the moment, you know. After yesterday's therapy session that you guys gave me, I feel like there's something to be said for being in the moment and enjoying things like the music playing in the background. It's Monday. I'm late. Of course I'd be late on a friggin' Monday. It's also time for school, so apparently there's a lot of people that are, you know, getting ready for this. Some of the chatters here are getting ready for this, so we're gonna be kind of hanging out solo for a while here, and I'm okay with that because I got some things to talk about. But I'm gonna save the good stuff for later. All right, I'm working on this stuff here. Where we go? I'm working on some things here, and I will save the good stuff for later, so that I don't take away from all the people that want to hear about the cool stories I have to tell. I mean, I think they're cool. I don't know what you guys think, to be honest with you. I enjoy them. But to be totally honest, I don't know how you guys feel about it. So, yeah. Man, this, seriously, I used to imagine like living in a cyberpunk 2077 type world, only it wasn't that much of a dystopia. Not that, I mean, the dystopia that we see in cyberpunk is so terrible. I mean, what's up, Midwest Night Watcher? Whenever I get to the part where we have a conversation, if you want to join in, you are more than welcome, my friend. More than welcome to join in. But yeah, today we're going to talk about some new stuff, you know, what's going on. There's some really interesting things happening on the gaming front because Starfield is awesome. Yeah, no, it's that good. It really is. What can I say? It's freaking awesome. And I don't know how you guys feel about the Starfield game. I hope you like it, but honestly, it's no problem, man. No problem. The Starfield game is going to be awesome. There's so much good content that's being promised. There's an entire decades-long, allegedly decades-long, support for the game. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm actually quite interested in, and I got to start this game. I know, I'm starting it. I'm quite interested in the, oh, speaking of which, today, I couldn't get to the game, to change the game, because I literally was already 5 minutes late, so I had to just really quickly jump into the stream. So right now, I'm biding time with rambling until I can fix the stream. We are actually going to be playing Monster Hunter World. Hopefully it's I don't know if I have it downloaded though. Let me see if, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if I have it downloaded or not. But also checking out some deals. There's a lot of entertainment value in some of these games. Yes, I do have it downloaded. Fantastic. I can assure you, oh my gosh, that well, maybe I won't. Maybe I can't play Monster Hunter World. Dagnabbit. We'll stick to the alien stuff. So anyway, yeah, let's talk about some things. You want to let's view some of the interesting things that happen with. Oh my gosh, can't kick the allergy issue is kicking my butt today. Twitter is wild today, y'all. A lot of things are being brought up from the history of ufology. So I'm gonna bring up the tweeter sphere, and we're gonna get crazy. We're gonna talk about some crazy things. You know what I'm saying? So get ready, cause it's gonna get interesting. This one is not here. Here. There we are. Cheerio, jolly good. Jolly good. Yeah, people don't like it whenever you mention the word black. I don't know why. I have no idea what's up with that. Like mentioning the word black to some people is like very offensive. It's like, what? Yeah, so yesterday, in case you guys don't know, on live, this is crazy. On live yesterday, I joked about something that happened in my past as a kid. And I jokingly said, you know, when I was a kid, my mom had some issues, you know, and I jokingly said, "Oh, I had black problems, you know, black problems." It's a joke. Crack cocaine was literally a pandemic for black people. Yeah, crack I should say, hit the African American population really hard. Excuse me. No joke, guys. The CIA or the FBI was literally peddling crack into black communities for the explicit purpose. Look this up yourself. Forget about what I'm telling you. Don't believe me. Look it up yourself. You will find out the atrocities of the FBI towards the black community with their expressed intention to break up the black family. They wanted to make you know how a lot of politicians say, oh, the reason with the biggest problem today is fatherlessness, right? What they're saying is black people. They're trying to say black people because in the black community, one of the greatest problems that black people have in terms of the community itself is that a lot of kids grow up without their father. It is literally a fatherless community. Trust me, I'm well aware of this. Everybody I know, every cousin I have, my sister, my dad was there, but he wasn't there. He had a drug problem. My dad died from a drug overdose, okay? Let's be real here, y'all. Like, I'm not an idiot. Drugs are a big, crack especially was a big problem in the black community for a long time. And it's literally because of the FBI. Not because black people just have bad value systems. Only racist people believe that, or people who don't know, okay? If people don't know, black people do not have drug problems because black people have that's not a black value. That's not a black, first of all, drug problems is an American problem. It's not a black problem. However, when you want to talk about the specific kind of drugs and why they have the problem, crack is a real problem for the black community and has been for quite some time. It's a pandemic. Now, check this out. The FBI peddled drugs into the black community on purpose, again, with the express intention of destabilizing the black community. Let me actually, while I'm doing this, you guys are gonna watch me play video games, because you know what? Let's light. I don't want to make this it's not a depressing stream here. I just got to tell you the truth here, so you know the truth here, y'all. And I want you to, again, look it up. It's the truth, man. So they did it with the express intent to destabilize the black family. Now today they use that, they forget that. Like, they as in these politicians and racist commentators like Steven Crowder and so forth, they forget that because they don't want to look at the fact that it was the CIA who literally did this on purpose. Now, as a consequence, you got fatherlessness being an issue in the black community. All right. So I joked about this black problem yesterday. Now keep in mind, I don't believe in black. I believe in human problems. Like that guy Jacques Fresco said, there are no Negro problems. There are no gay problems. There are human problems. If you think about it, if you zoom out, we're dealing with problems as a human race here. Like it's not about. We can look at the minutia and if you look at the little, it's black, yeah, it's white, okay. But there are human problems. All of these problems ultimately boil down to one thing, and that is our humanity is the problem. Bottom line. But if we're gonna talk about the minutia, I can joke about it. I mean, it's my struggle, right? I can joke about my struggle. I'm allowed to do that, just as anybody else is allowed to joke about their struggle. It's a good way to cope with the realities, the reality of how terrible things can be sometimes. So I said that my family had a black problem, which was, again, referring to about the crack problem that people had, the crack problem that some of my family members had. And somebody in the chat did not like that at all. Stop, Marquise, stop it right now. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I bet you guys $1 million in Minecraft that that this same person who said that believes that he has the right to use the N-word because it's just a word, right? It's just a word, guys. What are you so mad about? Why can't I say words? Because I'm not black? I bet you $1 million in Minecraft that this guy, guaranteed, believes that it's his right to use the N-word, okay, to dehumanize black people, because it's just a word. To dehumanize, it's just a word. Got it, cool. But I'm not allowed to joke about having black problems. That is a culturally accurate thing to say. Like if you're a United States citizen, you know what I'm talking about. There's no confusion here, guys. It's not to say that like other races don't have problems. That's idiotic. If you got that from what I said, which is kind of what he seems to have gotten, you are an idiot. You are a complete idiot, or you're intentionally dishonest and you just don't. You know, this is what a lot of racist people will do. They'll say, "Oh, I just don't get you people." Right? I don't get you people. It's useful. Meaning black people. You know, you complain about, what is it? You have this victim mentality. It's like, huh? I don't feel like a victim. You have this victim mentality, all right? And I can't tell you some of the people I've talked to about this because I already lost connection because of this thing. But somebody literally had this racist behind argument where they're like, black people's problem is black people. Black people are the problem. Look at what happened to the Jews. The Jews overcame their struggle. You have to ignore all of human history to believe this crap. But listen, the Jews overcame their problems. They came together as a society, right? As a culture, and because they had better cultural values than black people, they did well. But black people, you black people, I'm serious, guys. This came from a very intelligent person, by the way. You black people just can't figure out your culture. And so the reason why you have problems isn't because of police brutality, isn't because of 350 years of slavery, isn't because of Jim Crow, isn't because of the resistance to the civil rights movement, isn't because of what Rosa Parks had to fight through, isn't because of the Underground Railroad, isn't because of what Malcolm X was complaining about. It's not because of isn't because of the crack pandemic, isn't because of the legal racism that has been a part of the sicknesses of our society for hundreds of years. It's because of black culture. Don't be a victim. First of all, I don't feel like a victim. Secondly, you literally have to ignore all of human history. First of all of American history. We're not even talking about the indigenous population of people that are still to this day, unjustly, their land has been stolen from them. This isn't anybody's land but theirs. This is their land. It was stolen. Bloodshed. By bloodshed. Okay? So, the idea, this is so crazy to me. The only person that can say something like that is either ignorant, and I mean this not in a derogatory way, or they're racist. And anybody who's intelligent and can read and understand like data and has seen it and has denied the data you're willfully ignorant. It means you want to be stupid on purpose because you're racist. And so and when I say racist, I don't mean like burn black people at the cross, but you believe that black people are just inferior if you believe that black people aren't the way that they are for a reason. Everybody is the way that they are for a reason, every single person. But when it comes to culture, there's a thing called sociology and psychology, and if you actually study it, you'll learn, like if you anthropology as well, and if you study it, or if you don't and you talk to people who do, they will tell you that there are cultural reasons for why people are the way that they are. And there are historical reasons for why people are the way that they are. Historically. It's just like it's like a fact of, and so I literally had to stop talking this. I do this all the time. I talked to Nazis before I started doing this stuff, by the way, guys. I talked to real, like actual Nazis, like actual people, like they want to bring back the Holocaust, or because they want to get rid of Jewish people. Why do they hate Jewish people? I don't understand. I don't get it, because as a black person, when I think of Jewish people, I think of like white people. That's what, like, I guess that's an ignorant thing on my part, Because apparently racists don't see Jewish people as white people, and I don't even know why. I don't quite understand why, to be honest with you. Like, I thought that's just like I don't know. But either way, yeah, Bryson, I've been dealing with this privately for about 2 months now. Well, about 2 months now, privately. But last night it kind of reached out on live while I was. This is the racist, stupid, ignorant takes that people have they're just out of this world, man. They're out of this world sometimes. And I've dealt with this from an intelligent person, a very, very smart person. But I can't like explain. You know, if you think that black people are inherently stupid, which is what this person believes, that black people are inherently less intelligent than white people, like you're just born, like black people have like less intelligent brain structures, like you're just built to be different, like stupider than white people are, as well as Jewish people, by the way. If you believe that, I can't, like, there's no amount of data or information or articles or books that will change your mind. As a matter of fact, you will consider that information fake news. Like, oh, it's a trick to get you to believe that black people aren't stupid. That's what I deal with privately, guys. I don't really talk about race on my channel because I think it's ridiculous, but sometimes, like, no, dude, there are people, again, smart people, allegedly, who believe that black people are biologically less intelligent than white people. With degrees. People with degrees that believe this. But they don't believe it's racist to think that. They think that is just a natural order of things, right? Like back in the day, scientists used to say, the Negro is actually quite close to a monkey. And look, it's scientifically proven. And they had data on this stuff, guys. It wasn't like they had actual data. Scientists would say this. You know, in like the 1800s or 1700s and stuff like that, that black people were like, and the 1800s and the early 1900s, they still believe this stuff. This was a belief. This is a real belief. No joke, guys. No joke. And I don't know. I mean, you know, it's frustrating to me that, like, the only thing that's really frustrating to me is even when you present these people with information, they don't believe in the information. They're just like, nah, I still think black people are stupid. You know, I'm not racist, but like, you guys are definitely dumber than us. It's just nature. That's just nature to them. But they're not racist though, because all people are equal. Everybody just has their place in life. Like a woman, for example, to them, doesn't have a place in like finance or business, because women make irrational decisions because of their chemistry. And so to them, women being in the business world is a bad idea for business, because you need a man to. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. This is crazy stuff. Listen, I'm not a feminist. I'm just a dude, right? But really, like, some of the most like responsible people I've ever met are women. Some of the most irresponsible people I've met are men. Tell me right now, how many times has a man said, man, if I didn't have my wife, I wouldn't know where my brain was at, right? How many men, black, white, or otherwise, say this very thing? All of them? Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, all of them. All of them. Guys, somebody didn't get the memo, you know, like, I don't know. But either way, the whole point of this rant is to ultimately say that ignorance is bliss, man. You don't have to face reality if you keep believing a lie. You can make up anything you want to if you just create a false narrative for yourself. And anybody that tells you otherwise, no matter what it is, whether it be with the UFO phenomena or, the world, humanity. I mean, we talk about it here, about things that I think that people have logical inconsistencies with. It's, yeah, that's another thing. Irish people weren't even considered white at one time. America's so weird. when it comes to that kind of thing, because there are these arbitrary distinctions between humans that people have created. Like, people just created them, and we still to this day practice the differences in the distinctions in like race to this day. I get that there are cultures, but the reason that there are cultures is because they are literally ingrained into the society itself. It's like the fabric of what we are. It has nothing to do with truth and reality. It's about condition. It's literally just about condition. They're absolutely, I can't allow that, Black Usame, but you're right. You're right. There are some dumb mother freakers of all flavors, guys. All flavors. That means, like, it isn't about, this is what gets me. It's not about race, to be honest. Again, I believe in human problems. I joke about the cult. We live in a cultural society where people recognize cultural things. So when I make a joke that I think people will understand because they get the cultural reference, it's not about racism. It's just a joke. It's just a freaking joke. Oh my gosh. Yo, there are some real geniuses out there, Black Ace Omega. You are 100% correct. So, rant over for that part. I just had to say it. I'm not really like that bothered by it. I think it's more comical than anything. But like, I do find it troubling that people are unable to get past, like, they can't. There's something going on here where there's the population is so disillusioned by media, by the advent of social media, because social media allows people to live in their echo chambers. Keep in mind, remember I said there are echo chambers and then there are existential bubbles. I learned that from Destiny. It's great. And people literally live in an echo chamber, because what social media allows people to do, what it fosters, is this echo chamber. I like video games. When I go on to Facebook, you know what I see? Video game, ads. This video game's coming out, that video, and it's like, man, if I talk to the unicorn about an Xbox controller, I bet you, mentioning the word Xbox controller, I'm gonna see 15 ads about Xbox controllers by the end of the day, guaranteed. Like, right, that's what social media does. If I say, for example, you know, the sickness that we will not name for the sake of my channel, if I say that, right, and I say, oh, it's planned, I guarantee you by the end of this show right here, I'll go on to Facebook and I'll get 50 posts from people that say it was all a scam, they're trying to control, they got your DNA, they're twisting, you're turning into a reptilian. Bet I'll have Alex Jones screaming, they're making a freaking frog. By the end of the day, my feed will be full of Alex Jones and crazy people telling me that viruses don't exist. Like, they don't, what? There's no such thing as a virus. That's in your head. Eat this tree root. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm trying to process, because there's some scary thinking out there, guys. There's some scary thinking. I think the most terrifying thing about society, to be honest with you, is the fact that people, first of all, not that they just exist in an echo chamber, but that they're able to be convinced by that echo chamber. Now, this is another thing. This is biological, right? You're talking about, ultimately, it's all about stimulus, external stimuli. Ultimately, that's what it's about. Ultimately, it's about, this guy is so hard to fight. I can't stand him. Oh man, I should probably switch my weapons. Nah, screw it. We're gonna go in head first. Anyway, it's that people are like able to be convinced by this. So on the one hand, we all have the ability to discern, but some people are genuinely mentally ill, and I don't mean that they're like, I mean like Maybe they were abused as a child. Maybe there's some chemical issues in their water because a lot of cities and municipalities don't take care of their piping systems and so forth. They don't really have clean water. I mean, look at what happened to Flint, Michigan. There's what's called, I don't even want to say it. There's environmental issues that people have that they're not even aware of. I used to work for a water treatment company, and we would test people's water, and I don't even drink. Don't ever drink sink water. Listen to me. If you're drinking sink water, you're asking, don't drink sink water. Unfortunately, you absorb more through the pores of your skin from a shower than you do from drinking water. However, get a shower head that filters that stuff out immediately. Immediately. Do not drink sink water. Do not boil your sink water. Do not cook with your sink water at all. Don't do it. And especially don't give it to your children. Okay? Just listen, I used to have a briefcase with a stack full of newspaper articles that I found on the internet and that my company found on the internet as well, where they're just like these water issues across the nation. Where it's like, this is like local everywhere, all over the states. They do not care about you, guys. They do not care about you at all. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever is in control of the water systems in like local municipalities, they don't care about you at all. You are nothing to them. Nothing at all. Okay? Anyway, don't drink the water. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of factors, including environmental, biological, and then now sociological stimuli that affect the consciousness of the population. I believe intentionally so, but we won't get into conspiracy at this moment, not in this moment. And I think that when you couple all of those things together, you get what we have today. You get what we have today, where people aren't able to make sense of their own experience. They can't make sense of it. It's literally not their fault, no matter who it is. Whether it's the crazy guy down the street who wants to, throw rocks at the kids that pass by his yard because he's afraid that they're gonna walk over his flower bed by the way, it's been dead for 20 years, but it's just the idea that it's his and he doesn't like it's his property, and he's been convinced by the American dream, and so this is his property, or else or it's the Karen in it that is having a mental breakdown because you're skateboarding on an open parking lot that nobody's parked in for like 15 years. Whatever that may be, those people are dealing with mental health issues, obviously. Okay? They're dealing with them on top of environmental issues, we can talk about the air quality in this country, we could talk about the water system in this country, we could talk about the food production in this country, we could talk about the chemicals that are pushed through in all of we are bombarded. And then on top of that, you got the chemical manipulation of the consciousness of people, aka the media, right? You want to talk about fear tactics? Looks useful. You want to talk about fear tactics in planned division? Guys, it's not an accident. It's not an accident. I'm not a psychologist. You're not a psychologist. Every one of you understands what I'm talking about. There are psychologists who help to keep this system the way that it is. Are you telling me, you want to tell me that they don't, this is just it's just how society is. This is a byproduct of just humans. No. It is a manipulation of consciousness. Don't be stupid. All right? I'm not going to let you be stupid. If you believe that the way that we are is a byproduct of humanity, you're an idiot. And it's not your fault. And I love you, even though you're stupid. I'm stupid too sometimes. But right now, that is the stupidest of stupid, to believe that it is your fault entirely. Unless you can go build a house, which by the way, in some places you can't do without purchasing Okay, just bear with me here and use your better judgment. You're subject to the environmental influences, and that includes all of the things that I just mentioned of our civilization. You are not a sovereign citizen. No matter what anybody tries to tell you, you're not. You're not. Stop believing the lie, okay? Only when you wake up to the reality of your enslavement, okay? Don't be an idiot. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about all people. You are a slave. Whether it be an economic slave, a sociological slave to this system, you are a slave. A slave of consciousness. A slave of consciousness to this way of life. And you have been told that this is just how you are. And unless you can dig your way out of it, you have no reason to complain. Are you insane? Is anybody else believing this crap? Am I the only person who sees through the BS? Or do you guys see what I'm talking about? Hit me up, chat. Come on, please help me. Help me, because I'm telling you that if you're listening to my words right now and you believe, nah, I still think it's our fault. They tricked you. They got you. They got you, fam. I'm gonna try my best to get them clutches out of your neck because they got you. You have been fooled. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. Okay? Bottom line, whatever the thing is, you can make, yes, you make your own decisions. Yes, if you do something wrong, you should be held accountable. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not an idiot either. Let's not be complete fools here. What I'm saying is this. All of the things that I just mentioned, I will not repeat them over and over again throughout this entire stream. They are the reason for why you even make the decisions you make right now. All of them. You are not free. You are not sovereign. You are not an individual. You are part of a very big system. A human system, if you will. Okay? A biological, cohesive, symbiotic organism of the human race, as well as this planet. Because keep in mind, you need everything on this planet to be you, to exist alone. You need the world, the rainforest, the water, the animals, the plants, all the vegetation, everything. You need it all. You are not an individual. You are a symbiotic piece of the grand puzzle of this life. Do not be a fool, people. Please. Please. I'm trying to wake y'all up, all right? I'm really trying here. It's very difficult because a lot of you, whether you're listening or not, whether you're in the chat, whether you've been on the show or not, a lot of you know who you are. You're brainwashed into believing that this is just how we are. That's the trick, guys. That's the trick. The trick is to make you think that this is your choice. Gary V, I like the guy. He inspires me, but I am not a fool. Gary V is a symptom. You gotta work 460 hours a day. You gotta give up your love for your family, curse your way through all of your educational, you gotta do all this, all right? If you want to be a successful person, don't sleep, don't eat, don't pee, don't poop, just work and die. And if you die working, you did the right. That is such an insane. How many people work 60, 80 hours a freaking week as a factory worker, as a construction worker, and they freaking hate their lives? But we need them. We need them. What do you say to those people? Oh, you're just not trying hard enough. That is a symptom. Do not be tricked. Okay, I like Gary V. He motivates me. Okay, but let's not be fools here, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh. This is not your nature. Your nature is so much better than this. Your human nature is better than this. You have a greater capacity for something else. No, not on your own, because again, you are not a monolith. You are in a symbiotic relationship with all things on this planet, and especially your fellow human beings. Do not be a fool. I hope that makes sense to you all. I hope I didn't just waste 15 minutes of my life. I don't even know how long it's been. Wait. Did I say 15 minutes? Whatever. Judge me. However many minutes of my life explaining to you guys about your the true nature of what you are. Some of it anyway. You know, you're not Joe Schmo who owns a truck and, you know, I want my rights to own that gun and so I can protect myself. That's not the ultimate, you know. The ultimate achievement in life isn't to own as many weapons as you can, so you can blast your neighbor away in case they steal a sandwich from your kitchen, okay? Like, I'm watching, you know, I mean, we all see again, you want to talk about human nature and about the sicknesses that come as a consequence of what you think is only human nature. It is not human nature. It is human nurture. They make us this way. They make us this way. The system is not broken. Here's a quote. The system is not broken. It's working just the way it's supposed to. It's not broken. This is how it's supposed to work. This is how it's supposed to work. We're not supposed to be this way. We're supposed to be in a much better state than this. We have the ability, we have the intelligence, we have what it takes, what we need to be better as a civilization. You want to get to the, you want to talk about the Kardashev method, the Kardashev scale? The Kardashev scale, we could at least be a type 1 civilization. We should be, at the very least, a type 1 civilization. Why are we not? Because they've told us that's just not how humans are supposed to be. This is how it is. Guys, this is the epitome of human achievement. Capitalism. Hyper-individuality. Oh, it's all about what you own. You gotta, hey, you know what it means to be to be free? Having all this stuff. Owning as much property as you can. Own. You gotta own it all. Like Pokemon. Alright? It's like Pokemon. They're treating our lives like the things that we need are just Gotta catch them all. Yeah, gotta catch them all. Pokemon! I catch them, it's also true. Buy a house and some new shoes. Get that car because you deserve everything that you freaking want. Destroy the planet. This is Pokemon, y'all. We're living. What did I just do that for? I embarrassed myself on live. We're literally, y'all. Listen. We're living in a you want to talk about virtual reality, a simulation? You want to know what the simulation is? The simulation is what we're living in right now, created by those who control the systems. The systems, you fools. Okay, don't worry, I'm with you. I'm a fool for it. Look at me, look, you know. It's the system. That's the matrix. That's the trick. That is a trick. You want to know, man, you want to know what the real secret is? This is not your true nature. This is not the epitome of human nature. Degeneracy. Believing that, oh man, the greatest threat to civilization is gay people. Are you insane? Are you crazy? Who believes that crap? There are people that really believe this. The epitome of degeneracy is like black people wanting to feel equal. What? The epitome of like, oh, the collapse of society. You know what it is? Homeless people wanting to have food and shelter. Think I'm crazy? You want to know who the most influential people in the freaking world are? Joe Rogan. Do you know what they believe? They believe in the same crazy stuff that I'm talking about right now in terms of the system. They support the system. I'm going to quote Joe Rogan. I do not believe this. Joe Rogan said, quote, maybe you should shoot the homeless people. Unquote. Joe Rogan. What? What? Guys. They control the consciousness. And you know what's crazy? Joe is a funny, cool, chill dude. Probably one of the coolest dude you'll ever hang out with. I bet. I bet Joe Rogan is such a cool dude. You would wish that he's like your uncle. I bet you. I bet you would want you would want Uncle Joe in your life. I bet you. Money says, money on it. I put money on that. Uncle Joe is probably one of the coolest dudes. Put money on it. And that's the point. That's the point. That is it. That is it. Because it's about influencing consciousness. Influencing and controlling the consciousness of the people. That's what it's about. Make us hate people we never met. Exactly. Black Ace Omega. You're on fire today. What about you? Would you like Joe as an uncle? If Joe was my uncle, I would be terrified. I would be terrified. I would not want Joe Rogan as my uncle. No freaking way. No way. No way. The level of WTF is insane with that guy. I would not want him to be my uncle. No. It's just, to me, it's like, the crazy thing is, to me, that's a really good, I apologize I try to do this stuff whenever I'm not on live, because I know it's boring to see, but there's some really interesting, you get this gear straight and, ooh. See what I mean? How do I deny this? I don't have it. I need Dragonite. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna go do an Anyway. And then we can increase our increase the affinity. So we need critical eye. Some of this armor is loaded, guys. I know I don't really talk about the video game itself, but like there are some really interesting builds. Not right now. Right now there's kind of nothing really that great. But what I want to do is if you were watching for the gaming, I like to use dual blades. The reason why I'm using the switch axe right now is because it's such a powerful weapon. It's easy to take out the beginning monsters. So I just kind of wipe them out, collect their body parts so that I can increase my get to the point where I can actually grind for armor pieces, and then I start to focus on the builds. So I like the paralysis build. I really enjoy the dual blades. There's a very high chance of inflicting any kind of elemental damage, or if you have a status effect on the weapon, then you can create a build that's really effective for increasing critical hits and then increasing elemental effects by those critical hits at the same time with the right armor. But you make a sacrifice to your defense. So you're like not necessarily a glass cannon, but you were definitely really highly effective. It kind of skates you through the whole game for the most part. The whole, the first part of the game before the DLC, until you get to that freaking Thunder Dragon. Anyway, so Yeah, I don't listen to Joe Rogan, listen to Mark. My guy, Black Ace Omega. That's my guy right there. I appreciate you, man. I really do. You know what sucks is like, I mean, Joe got us all on to like, he brought Bob Lazar on. He brought, you know, Jacques Vallée on as well and had these 3-hour conversations. Like, that's the kind of thing that I like. That's why I'm doing for it. I like that kind of thing, you know? I think that's so cool to have those conversations, those, you know, very long and long form conversations. That's what I like that. I prefer that, right? But that's the allure. That is the allure. That's the trick, right? The trick is get them interested, make them feel like you're just a regular homie on the block. You're just a cool, I'm just a cool dude, you know, just hanging out with my friends, talking about guy stuff, you know? I'm a normie. Sometimes I talk about how weird it is to be gay. Oh, you know, how weird it is to be trans, but you know, I'm just a dude. I don't really care about that, but like, let me tell you why gay people and trans people, this is what I mean. Like, that's the trick. The trick is to make you, like, to disarm you, to disarm your critical thinking. They disarm your critical thinking by getting you to like them, right? Because they're such charismatic people. But then they really get you with what their ideology actually is. You got to get in first. You got to get in first. It's like a really slick guy trying to pick up a chick who's just like, no, I'm not about that, you know? He's a player. He's got all the she knows he's a player, but he's so smooth. He comes at her like he's just this innocent dove. I just wanted to buy you flowers today. I just wanted to tell you you're beautiful. That's all. Nothing else. I'll see you later. I just wanted to tell you I like the shoes you're wearing tonight. Did you do your hair differently? I love those eyelashes. Girl, those fingernails, on point. Right? That's it. No, never. Just, I like you. Oh, you know what? You're so intelligent. I never really thought about the way that you talk about things. It's just like I just see something about you that makes me think that, you know, beneath that exterior beauty, there's some real deep, you know, deep thinking going on in that cranium of yours, girl. You know, like whatever, right? Did you fall? Are you an angel? Did it hurt when you fell? Like, this is what they do, right? They get you, and you're like, stop. This is you. This is the Joe Rogan. Stop. You're just a regular dude. I know. Stop. Next thing you know, N-word, black people are monkeys, black people are funny, black people are, and white people mixing is weird. N-word. I'm just making jokes. You're like, stop. I know it's funny. You know, what's the guy doing to the girl? Next thing you know, panty dropper. Boom, you're over his house watching Netflix butt naked. That's what happens with Joe Rogan, all right? Next thing you know, it's online cheek clapping. 101. How do you do it? Watch Joe Rogan. All right, so oh my gosh, I can't stand myself sometimes. I really can't. I can't stand myself. Obviously, I'm joking. Please, if you take offense to this, I guess it's not the right place for you. I appreciate you anyway. But like, that's how they get you, man. They get you guys by all these different influencers. That's why they're called influencers. They get you by making you like them. They get you by disarming you. And the next thing you know, you're bent over their kitchen countertop with no lube, pants to your ankles, just welcoming all what's coming next. Whatever that may be. You're open to it, all right? Sociologically speaking. I'm in Minecraft. That's what's gonna happen to you. And you're gonna like it too. Because in your mind, you're thinking, stop, Joe. You just want to shoot homeless people. What's wrong with that? Because you like Joe so much now. Now you're gonna defend him. This is what happens. Now you're defending him. The dude literally said he wants to shoot homeless people. And there are people who say they believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, but they like Joe Rogan. I don't think they've read the Bible. I'm just gonna be real with you. There are people who believe in like unity and like, oh, I believe in intellectually stimulating conversations and stuff like. They're smart people. They're intellectuals. And they're like, if you don't like Joe Rogan, you're woke. What? Let me tell you something right now. I am far from woke. Like, I would be canceled in a minute with my viewpoints. I'd be canceled today with my viewpoints. Canceled. There's nothing woke about me, y'all. I think there's a reality that we're all observing, and you know, it's being manipulated by these so-called influencers. This is just how we are, y'all. This is just humanity. This isn't the system isn't broken, ladies and gentlemen. It's working just the way that it's supposed to be. By the way, if you can't tell when I'm being facetious and when I'm being serious, I apologize. I was told that sometimes I switch jokes mid-sentence, mid speaking about things, and people don't know, like, are you advocating for? Okay, I will be more clearer about my jokes when I'm joking, when I'm being facetious, and when I'm being serious. Okay, some people will tell you that the system is fine, and they will tell you that what's happening right now is because people are the problem. I tell you that the system is not broken. It is working just the way that it's supposed to, and the sickness that we see in people is a byproduct of the system that we live in today. Now, don't be fools. Please. Yeah, look, Black Ace Omega knows what's up. Women and poor folk donating to an alleged billionaire, right? This is what happens. Oh crap, I shouldn't have said that. Dag nabbit, you got me. Women in the military is woke. Black folks in the military is woke. How the heck do you get... Black Ace Omega, that's a good point. That's a good point. How do they get that black people in the military is woke? Are you kidding me? What's woke about? Help me, please, people. Help me understand these things. Oh my gosh. Hopefully Peanut will join us. But yeah, like, man, I just... You know, I can tell you guys something right now. I know for a fact that my audience is not the UFO community. I know that for a fact now. I get that now. I didn't know until recently, but like, yeah, I know now that my audience is not the UFO community. It isn't. It is not. It is not. My audience is definitely not. I mean, some of you slip through. Some of you. But I realized, I genuinely do realize, I was wondering, like, who's my audience? We share the same deal. Yeah, exactly. We're freaking humans. I used to believe, like, oh, you know, I'm talking about UFOs. The UFO community is not my audience. It's not. Absolutely no, undeniably so. It is not my audience, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that, as a matter of fact. Because that just means there's just other people out there. And when you guys gave me that pep talk yesterday, I had a lot of thinking to do. I had a lot of soul searching that I did. Thank you for that. By the way, I appreciate all of you for doing that for me yesterday. I'm sorry that I did that, but I'm also glad because I needed to hear that to reinvigorate me and to give me a perspective. I thought about this. My audience isn't the people. It's not the people that are like, you know. There are people out there who hear me. There are people out there who hear what I have to say, and then who agree with me and that don't agree with me, but they respect what I have to say. There are those people, and they're my audience. The ones that agree and don't agree, but either way respect what I have to say and want to have an open dialogue with me about it. Let's talk about it. Those are my audiences. You guys right here in the chat, you're my audience. You're not just my audience, you're my friends. And I mean that sincerely. Because I spend a lot of time with you guys. Every day I spend time with you. You know, we talk. You hit me up on Facebook, on Instagram. You hit me up, you know, all over the place. Y'all are hitting me up. So, like, We're fam now. That's it. But the audience that I thought was my audience is not, and I'm happy to finally understand that it is about what I'm doing needs to be for the people that I'm doing it for, and it's not the UFO community at all. It isn't them, and that's good, because like it's just like, and I don't want to. It's like people who like trains. Like if there's a lot of train people that like UFOs, and I say that I don't like trains, but I like UFOs, and they attack me for it, should I be upset about that? The answer is obviously no. I shouldn't be upset about that. But I was getting upset. I was honestly kind of bent out of shape about that. What's up, Peanut? Welcome. Good morning. Does anybody want to jump on and join my ramble? Maybe give me some feedback about all the crap that I just said while I slaughter this monster, cut its body parts up, and then use it for some kind of a leather hat or something like that in Monster Hunter Rise. You know? While I open this giant indigenous creature where there's literally only like one of them that exists in each ecosystem, and then I slaughter it and all of its friends and family, and then cut them up too because I want a different color for my hat in this video game. Does anybody want to come talk to me while I do that? Because I also like, listen, I'm joking, but like, I jest about the hypocrisy, right? Because right now I'm joking about this game, but like, the hypocrisy in all of these different thinkings to me is more evident than ever. But what bothers me, to be honest, say, hold on a second. I could find anything on anyone. I stopped caring as much as I chose. Well, the problem is that people that do that don't think they're doing that. They think that they're doing the right. They believe they're right. Right? This is one of the greatest problem that I see in all of this, is that people believe in their heart, like genuinely believe they are right and that you're just wrong. Like it's not. Ezra Klein said this before too. Like he's like, people don't do these things because they think they're wrong. They do it because they think they're right. They believe in what they're saying. Like they genuinely believe that. Oh crap! I'm done. Oh, shoot. Shoot. No, please. Please. Run. Watch me plead for not getting knocked out here. Yeah, I wish I could. Oh, no, it's okay. Thank you. This school, I know that for especially for parents, luckily, all of those things are pretty much taken care of for me. Luckily. All those things are done. I got everything I needed to get done for the children, and by the way, mostly I didn't have to deal with any of it for the most part. You guys know why. Come on. I need to cut his tail off so I can use it to craft this really cool pants. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I don't know it. I actually don't know it. Well, got him. Anyway, oh no. So, yeah, lucky little punk. Keep attacking! Look at him running for his life. What kind of game is this? Don't you think this is a cruel game? My gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing here? Should I feel bad about this? I'm having an existential crisis here. A woman recently told me, in all seriousness, that Obama is still controlling everything. Oh my gosh, I can't. somebody told me the exact opposite, that Trump is still in control. Like, Trump is running everything, but, like, everything that goes wrong isn't his fault, though. Huh? Wait, I don't... Listen, I don't like politics. I think that they're all politicians are... I mean, come on, they're maintaining the system that I'm literally speaking against. All of them. All of them. Whether they make promises of, like, better days or not, they're all trying to uphold the system that I'm trying to fight against. Doesn't really matter to me. What matters, whenever somebody comes in and says, I want to change, I don't want to just write a policy, an amendment that says, okay, well, now you guys can eat 2 meals a day instead of, 1 meal a day for the poor people. Oh, you know what? I want to help the poor people be able to get, cell phones now. And, what about changing the thing that makes it so that there are poor people at all? Whoa. We can't do that. This is just the way things are. People just are poor. They need to work harder. Tell that to the mother of 3 whose husband was deleted for whatever reason. And now she's a single mom taking care of several kids with 2 jobs, trying to go to school at the same time so she has a better life. But there is no better life because this is it. This is the better life. That's the American dream. To be able to work your whole life away, never spend time with your kids, let them be raised by the system so that you don't have to worry about it, send them to school for 6 to 8 hours a day, then have them do extracurricular activities and tell them it's for their own good, and while they're getting influenced by their friends, who by the way are influenced by culture, who by the way you pay for, because you believe that is the American dream. Who's influencing them? Katy Perry. What does Katy Perry talk about? I kissed a girl and I liked it. The taste of her cherry that's what the kids what are they talking about? Taylor Swift's what's that song where she's talking about going crazy and beating up her boyfriend and scratching his car because she's crazy? What are they being influenced by, ladies and gentlemen? What is the purpose here?
I placed a trap.
What is the purpose here? It is to control and manipulate the public and then tell them that it is their fault that they are the way that they are. Do not be fools. Now I didn't destroy him. I didn't cut him up. I captured him. I put him to sleep. Captured him quietly after I cut his tail off, and now we're going to so we can get more of his body parts for better equipment in Monster Hunter Rise. Okay.
Let us head back.
You want to be a chef? Preach, bro. What's up, Soul? Thank you. I'm out here just talking about life today, fam. I'm just out here talking about life right now, okay? That's all I'm doing. Society. Oh, what's up, Garyoki? The Armenian. What's up, guys? Hold on, my gosh.
Good job defeating Magnamalo, Kimura Hunter.
You are what I call a true hero.
Welcome back! We heard you beat that Magnamalo! Way to go!
We've been thinking about what Elder Fugan told us.
Again, I'm going to extend the offer. I know that people are finishing up with this school stuff. The Armenian said he had to do some dad stuff. Now that dad's finished, you want to jump on? You got a story to tell, my guy? I will post the link in the Discord for anybody who wants to join in. I spent the first hour ranting about, things.
And that's how we contribute to Kimura.
Fine answer. I knew Kimura Village had the brightest kids around.
Well now, I think it's time for me to get back to doing my part, don't you think?
Right, me too.
And me 3! Okay, time for some new recipes! I've been thinking of a Magnamalo and
I just want you guys to know the recipes they're talking about are the recipes they get from me going out and slaughtering monsters.
Gotta say you did a great job.
What a world we live in. What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Let me tell you something right now. Yes, sir. Oh. Yo, Tropic Thunder was one of the funniest movies of all time. It was so funny. All because of Robert Downing Jr. I feel like he made that. How do they know that I'm playing Monster Hunter?
Take it, will ya?
That's weird. Anyway, I feel like it is the funniest. It's literally the funniest thing. The funniest thing.
Go on.
You're not boring, Black Ace Omega. That's not true. You out here adding context, providing value. You know what I'm saying? You doing the thing.
I feel lighter already, kid.
Yeah. I gotta use the bathroom real quick, so I'll be right back.
Yo, what's up, everyone? All right, looks like Zoom is up. Is Garyoki come in, join us? Or Bryson, or the link is up. I think Marquise put it up. It's on Discord if anyone else is joining.
Back in action, baby. Let's do this. What's up, the Armenia?
What's up? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you.
Glad
So we just had to take care of a couple things, yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you took care of those. I didn't. Again, I don't want you to feel like you're. Oh
no, it's my pleasure to be here. You know.
Cool beans, bro. We appreciate. Everybody loves it when you guys come on. It's better when I sat here and pretty much ranted for an hour about
It's a good day for a hunt.
civilization.
Yep.
And
There's a lot to talk about civilization.
Oh
for sure.
yeah, there is. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know if you heard any of it, but like my frustration was like this idea that it's our fault. They go, oh, it's your fault. I talk about Gary Vee and how Gary Vee. I get inspired by Gary Vee. It is for me inspiring, but the reality is the idea that you're not getting what you want because you don't work hard enough is stupidly insane, like stupidly so. Because there are people who literally work they're literally, and I don't mean this figuratively, work their, what do they say, their fingers down to the bone, and they still just suffer. Plus it sucks. Like you don't even get to enjoy the life that you're creating for your family, with your family, because you're spending all of it working. So even if you do get work really, really hard, what's the point if you miss out on so many moments with the family that you have, you wanna care for?
Yes, I completely agree. It's so I think it's by design that they make it that way, that you pretty much are an indentured servitude to the system that's in there, and like most people don't get to venture out into the more important things in life that they want to do. I think it's by design for sure.
100%. 100%. I said it's not the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it's intended to.
Yeah.
This is the system.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Did you guys get to watch? By the way, last night's.
Oh man.
Did you see that? Corbell's.
Yeah, I watched it. It was. I don't quite understand. I guess for content maybe, but like essentially what I gathered was that I shouldn't trust all of what John Lear says, and
You know, that's what I got out of it as well, and that was really, really
I wasn't expecting that.
that was interesting. That was very interesting because he made Lear sound less credible, especially
Yeah.
into his later years. And he gave some reference to how Bob Lazar and their relationship was, and I thought that was interesting. I had no idea about
I didn't
any
either.
of that.
I didn't either. I had no idea. I had no clue. And trust me, I'm like deep in this, but I don't know everything. But I did not know that. I had no idea. What bothered me most about that was like, well, keep in mind, the very first thing they showed was that John Lear said that there are 10 alien races that are visiting us, and 90% of them at least are hostile. And what he means by hostile is that that their intentions are either self-driven, like it's for their own agenda, but it's not in our best interest, and it ultimately leads to the suffering of humanity as some kind of consequence of their actions, or they have literal hostile intentions, like they eat us. Huh? What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's a bombshell to drop on the
Yeah.
public. But what's concern? I mean, when I heard that, exactly what I was talking about, that 90% of the aliens that are out there are hostile, I was very concerned. But from the very beginnings of his John Lear, and I know like his family and their what their family is in relation to projects that were blackout projects at the time, I guess, or like hidden projects.
Yeah.
That I always took that with a grain of salt because personally I have a hard time trusting people from the intel community, even if, like, don't get me wrong, there's people that I trust, but when he says something like 90% of the races are hostile, I took that at face value. So I said, okay, cool. But last night when I heard that in later parts of his life, in the latter parts of his life, he was talking about there is I forgot how many people living on the sun, how many races.
He said that they specifically said that he would do that on purpose to test people. Essentially,
yeah, that's kind of weird, though, isn't it? Like, it's kind of dropping. Like, why would he say that?
What he said in public versus what he said in private is like, if I were, for example, to say, listen, man, I heard about this civilization in called the Lemurians, and they, this many people, whatever. Right. That's like conjecture. It's just speculate, just pure theory throwing it out there. This is what I've been told. And he mentioned that, though. He said, I seen documents that said these things, but they're all BS. That's not what's happening. He's called out documents that have been fabricated by the government. So I think that if you got to really pay close attention to what's being said. Here's what I gathered from that, just for the sake of clarity on that specific issue. John Lear made a reference to in an interview, in a public television interview, that there are 10 alien races about that we know of, and that 90% of them are hostile. Keep in mind that is consistent with what the military believes in general, and also what whistleblowers have said for. Is not inconsistent with all of the whistleblowers, from Phil Snyder to, oh my gosh, I can't remember this chick's name, but I want to say her name is Lauren or Laura. I think not the Laura, Eisenhower. There's another chick that did a whole conference, and she's written a lot of books on the abduction phenomena and about the alien agenda. They're all bad. Like, there's a lot of bad ones, a lot of them. There is a good race. I think a few of them that want to help us, but they can't do too much because there's like this code or whatever. But the most of them are bad. This is actually universally accepted by all ufologists. But when I say all, I'm talking about, like, Richard Dolan talks about this, essentially, that there's at the very least one, but he thinks it's more than that. Jacques Vallée mentions that there's some. He doesn't say hostile. He doesn't say they're evil. He just says that there's a concern and that they're essentially. He describes what they're doing, and by his description, they're bad. It's in his books. Just read them. And again, all the David Jacobs, John Mack, all these people. It's consistent among all of them. However, on top of doing that, sprinkling in the little bit of deception in there, the fact that he would mess with people in private and tell them like literal lies and just to see how they would react, that does not help somebody who's already looking to like look for lies, dude. Like, I don't think they recognize how damaging that was to the credibility of anything they say at this point. I think that really hurt. I
agree. I 100% agree. I mean, if you're sprinkling in lies with even if you're telling the truth, that's a very dangerous thing to do.
That's not good.
It's not, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help your case if you want to be credible at all.
No. Like, it'd be like if I talked to, okay, so let me just do, I'm gonna do this. I talked to a guy who told me that, you know, that there's an alien race of tall, white, Nordic, or whatever beings that is abducting people, conducting experiments on them, giving them spiritual experiences and healing them. And that is essentially, they're the good ones. The Greys, the little guys, are actually our friends. They're like our buddies. And that they want to help us. They're trying to tweak our DNA. That they're working together with the tall whites, and that there is no bad. And if there is bad, he's not aware of it. That the bad is not as big of a deal as the good is. That it's not as influential or effective, like as influential on humanity as the good is, and that we shouldn't even be worried about them. We should be worried about ourselves, and that, you know, it's all about your experience is shaped by how you think and feel about the phenomenon. All this stuff, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you can't possibly believe this, but he believes that, and I'm talking about somebody who's very well connected. They're not like in the military, just to be clear, but they're very well connected in ufology. They're very prevalent in the public eye. Somebody who people believe and respect, who I like, but I just think he's so wrong. Because that's not what has been said for the last 80 plus years about thousands of years about the phenomena, but specifically 80 years of documented, you know, historically documented and stuff by military personnel and so forth. They're telling a different story here, guys. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would never go and tell people that as my intro to UFO for them to what I think about ufology. Why would you do that last night? Like, why would you do that? Yeah,
it's weird that Corbell brought that whole thing up, because that people that, you know, initially believed Lear, now that Corbell brought this out into the public space, how can you believe it? Right. Yeah. So detracts from. So I was very curious as to why he did that. It kind of detracts from what he himself is trying to do, which is, you know.
Well, he believes it's negative. He believes that there's a concern. He's worried for humanity. He makes it very clear that there's. I mean, he doesn't say explicitly, but he kind of alludes to the possibility of an actual war with aliens of some kind, or a takeover or something like that. He alludes to that often, and so, you know, when you do that, and then you say, by the way, this guy that says what I say is true, what aligns with kind of what I believe, he likes to lie. What? Yeah. Why would you do that, man?
Right. Hey, what's going on, Gary?
What's up, Garyoki?
I think you've passed your vibes last night on to me, Marquise. I feel suicidal, man.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I've got no phone. I broke my phone.
Oh man. Now I know. I feel I'd be suicidal too if I broke my phone.
It just goes to show how much we rely on technology.
Yeah. And
one day without my phone, and I feel like, thank God we ain't got guns in this country.
Oh man! Oh my gosh! In Minecraft. In Minecraft. Oh my God!
I mean, imagine that's all the aliens would have to do is drop a huge EMP all over the whole world, and
we're screwed.
Exactly. I think most of the people that are, you know, in the first world countries that are totally dependent on technology to even, you know, I can't even get to certain parts of Jersey without putting on my, you know, Google Maps. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I know, like, my parents, their parents, they used to drive around and like they knew where they were going.
Yo, what part of Jersey?
I can't do it, man.
What part of Jersey? I mean, like, you don't gotta tell me. I'm from Jersey.
No, they're in like Morris Plains area, like Parsippany, around there.
Okay, I'm from Manalapan, Englishtown.
I have no idea except for
Freehold. Close to Freehold.
It's like 45 minutes after the bridge.
Okay.
Drive.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
I've got no idea where Jersey is. Is that near New York State and Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's close to New York.
Around, yeah.
In Philly, in Philly. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, but.
That's where you're from originally.
Born in Jersey, grew up in PA and New Jersey, and Tacoma, Washington. Judge me. And Florida. All right, you know what? I'm all over. I spent 4 years in Tacoma. I spent 4 years in Florida, and I spent about 15 years in Pennsylvania and New Jersey together between the two of them. So as a kid, I spent most of my life in all those places.
Do you know what? Talking of Pennsylvania, the last thing I watched on my phone before it committed suicide.
Wow.
In Minecraft.
They were saying one of the main states in America for Bigfoot sightings and cryptids is PA, Pennsylvania.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know there's like a lot of those types of things that happen, I believe, on the Appalachian mountain range, which ranges on the East Coast. There's a lot of things that happen around there, I believe. I know, like West Virginia and things like that.
Well, PA is full of mountains, right?
Yeah.
A lot of mountains and forests here, so it's beautiful in the fall. My favorite place to be so far in this world that I've seen, in this country, I should say, is in PA. I know there's better places that have, but my favorite season is fall for obvious reasons, weather and, but man, it is the most beautiful sight in the world is to see the trees change colors.
The leaves, the oranges, yellows, greens, all mixed. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Nothing like that.
You mean autumn? What we call autumn?
You call it autumn? Yeah,
autumn.
autumn.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Autumn.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, I need a bit of love tonight, guys, because my world is in pieces, absolute pieces.
Listen, what kind of phone do you have, my guy? What kind of phone do you have?
It's a Samsung. I've got it here.
Go switch to iPhone, my guy. I got.
No,
let me ask you.
No, never.
Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you one more question. Do you have an email? Is your email address? Can you download apps on your phone?
Well, I can't even turn my phone on.
No, before it broke. Could you download application like apps on it, like maybe like a?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Everything is saved. Everything's saved. Your phone numbers, your contacts, your applications, everywhere they were, the skin that you use on your phone. Every single thing on your phone is saved in the cloud. You don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about it. You get a new phone and it's all there.
I was talking to Bryson about this earlier today, and I said I'm quite tech aware. I know how to get files and stuff saved on my phone, but my problem is I've got like specific apps I use like to take notes.
It's all there. It's all there. It's all there.
So if I get my because what I thought I'd do, I thought, well, I can't get a new phone because all that data would be gone. So I've got no other option than to go to a store, and get the screen replaced.
You could do that. But you could get a $40 phone at Walmart and call me and hit me up on Zoom, and I'll walk you through exactly what to do. You don't have to do anything. I used to be a multi-unit manager for a cell phone company, and I managed 3 different stores in different cities. I can walk you through it. I was in sales before all this stuff. That's what I did before.
Yeah, I've been through my actual laptop, what I'm on now, and all my contacts and everything are saved on there. So I've got no problem with losing phone numbers.
No, everything. If you use like they called it a native app. So like your phone has an app that's for note taking. If you downloaded an app that has an app that has it, it may be a little bit more complicated, because of, it's different than the native app. But if you have an email and you can download apps on your phone, every single thing, all that, it's called data. Everything you've ever done is saved in the cloud, which is just a computer, a big computer somewhere around where you live. So you don't have to worry about
photographs and I know.
No, more than that, more than that. Photographs, text messages, all of your text messages up to the day that phone died, including the ones that are coming through right now. The phone calls, everything is saved. Every single thing is saved.
You sound like some whistleblowing FBI in techno.
You know what I think is funny? When I used to work for a cell phone company, when I used to work and do the cell phone thing, I'm a big tech guy. I'm actually a really big tech guy. I'm huge into tech. I'm a super geek. But anyway, a lot of people would come in and be like, "Man, I had people throw their phones throw them on the table out in front of me. I don't know what the F's wrong with my phone. It won't turn on." And I would smile at them and be like, "Don't even worry about it, man. I got you. Like, how are you going to fix this? How are you going to fix this? You can't fix it. I got this phone just 2 years ago. Sir, you've had it for 2 years. Look at this thing. It's But anyway, and so I would walk people through. I would do it for them because that's what I did. But all they would need is their phone, their email. And boom, everything is there. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about.
Hopefully I'll get it all resolved tomorrow, because like I say, there's one app on my phone. It's not part of the phone. I downloaded it myself, and it's purely for taking notes and reminders for yourself. And it's got all my medical appointments on it, stuff like that.
Not like your calendar?
Yeah, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there.
That'll all be there with it.
All of it. Yeah, don't worry.
I think calendar app is saved. Yeah.
Yep. Everything.
Well, No, it's just like Notepad or I don't know. It's something I've found.
Yeah,
on
I wouldn't.
Facebook.
I would not worry about it. I mean, you could. It's okay to be worried, but like, when it comes to data, they've designed these phones to be for those specific problems. People have that problem too often for them to just be like, man, I don't know.
Let me tell you what my number one problem is. It is an old phone. It's a Samsung A50. It's quite old.
No, it's not. It's old. That's funny. That's funny you say that. It's new enough that's not a problem anymore. Don't worry.
Right, now the problem was, I thought, right, I'll just get a new phone. I've got the money. I can afford it. Then I thought, hang on, I need all the data off my old phones. So could they take all that data off my phone?
They don't need to. Yeah, they don't need to. No. So let's put it. Let's say you get a brand new phone right now, right? And you got it sitting in front of you right now. Okay. You'll turn that phone on. You'll put your email in, and if you know how to log into your email, everything will, as soon as you log in with your email, it will automatically put every single thing that was on your old phone onto the new phone. You could throw that old phone in the lake. Don't do it. But you can throw that old phone in the lake, all right, and never see it again. The Loch Ness could have took it to where it resides so that no one will ever find it again, okay? Because they failed that mission, by the way, recently. And,
oh, that's unfortunate.
Hold on one second, guys. I'm sorry. I got to. Hold on.
What? But do you know what? The main thing I've realised is I've not had my UFO fix today. I've not watched anything. You know, you guys were just talking about Jeremy Corbell. What was it? Weaponized? I haven't even seen.
Yeah, weaponized. I was on last night.
And that's what's getting. So I know nothing about, and that's what's getting to me. The fact.
Yeah, just missing out, right?
I'm missing all of that, and it's
It's all right. It wasn't. I mean, it was an interesting episode, but I don't think you missed too much. You'll catch up as soon as you get your new phone, anyway. I think.
What have you done? Yeah, I mean,
you'll love it. You'll love it.
Overnight.
You'll love the episode. Trust me, you will love that episode.
Well,
it's like an admission that nothing can be trusted. It was really bad.
What guy are you talking about? John? Was you talking about John Lear?
Yeah, John Lear.
Yes.
I was really upset.
He's one of my heroes. They can't.
Right. You might be in for an ontological shock about him after you hear the interview.
That much. I was really upset.
Yeah, but there's too much behind John Lear to doubt 100% of what he says. I mean, all right, yeah, he likes to laugh. You can tell a lot of the stuff he's just like winding people up, taking the piss out of them.
I didn't know that his nickname was the Godfather of Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
He took pride in that.
Yeah, he took pride in this.
Yeah.
That's kind of
damning,
scary.
Dude. That's damning
yeah,
to me.
it is. It's not a good thing.
Everything he first came out with, people now genuinely research and have found facts about it. You know, like alien structures on the moon, stuff like that. He's not the only guy that
do you realize John Lear thought that they were evil, that they were bad aliens? Like that was his position.
I could just sit there all night long and listen to John Lear just talk crap. Or
can I just mention though, when he said 90% of these beings are evil, he said if they are not evil, they certainly do not have the same morals that we do.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily, evil themselves, but if they don't have the same morals that we do,
well,
I can see how he can view that.
Sociopaths don't have the same morals as us either, but
right.
They still need to be separated from. Like that's what my position has always been.
100%.
My position is, you guys are right, by the way, 100%. Doesn't mean that they. What if they're just like, again, a lion isn't evil. They just eat. They're hungry. They have to feed their family. They're not evil for taking out a whole family of human beings. They're just doing what they do, surviving.
Right, like so maybe abductions aren't frowned upon in their culture or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's.
Well, I've always said that myself. Who's to say what they think is totally normal? We think is horrible and disgusting until we think about it.
Yeah.
It's just the same. You could even say, all right, as humanity, our baseline morals, maybe the first three of them are all the same. But you've only got to go to different countries to find out we are morally different. really.
True. That's 100% true, man. That's actually a great point too.
I
My
mean,
only
I
thing
think
is that we all do recognize though. We all recognize that certain things are we consider good or bad by the nature of what the impact what the impact is. So like we don't say I've never heard anybody say, look, man, you know those people that go around looking for people to hunt and to R-word and to listen, you just there are those I can't say the word, do not say it on my channel, I will boot you from this conversation. But the P word, the P word, like
Okay.
right to children. Let's say we don't say, oh, it's just how they feel about, they're not bad because they just feel differently about. No, we say cut the necessary parts off, right? But when we talk about aliens, we don't do that. We say, oh, we just don't understand them. That is dumb to me. That's dumb because you're right. You're right. There is a difference in what they believe. Obviously, they're a whole other intelligence. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be concerned about what they're doing on the planet, though. That's always been my position.
I agree. Well, I mean, like, there's places even here on Earth that, like,
I know.
for certain Indians, cows are very sacred, and we eat hamburgers over here like every day. So
I know.
I can't even imagine what they think of us.
Hindus believe that,
right?
don't they? Yeah.
What's the difference between that and like can you see a distinction?
Well, no. Well,
I mean, yeah, I'm just giving examples of what we could. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I do. You gotta like take into account too that like I'm 100% against any type of the P word, but back in the day, like people used to get married in certain cultures a lot younger as well. So there's and it used to be an older man that would be able to take care of the woman that was much, much younger, almost coming of age kind of thing. So we definitely, as a society now, frown upon those things. I frown upon those things. I find it really, really weird that people have that. But this is not a new phenomena on the earth itself. This has happened in cultures where you understand where I'm coming from too. So
I'm not
things
sure.
like
What do you mean though? What's the
I think it's more shocking because the world has got smaller, isn't it? We can travel, we can communicate with each other so easier, and we're exposed to all these different cultures and traditions and whatever. And that's why we find it more shocking, because maybe in the past we were blind to it, if you know what I mean.
So, like, I don't know how true this is, and you would have to do your own research. For example, in Islam, the Prophet Muhammad that they believe in, when he took his first wife, she was very, very young. So that's like one of the things that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I mean, back in the day, it was like culture in America to 13-year-old girls. Like they were marrying 13-year-old girls here in America.
Right. So
that was like the way of the law, like the law of the land. That was the way things were.
Right. So there's a lot of weird things that don't make any sense to us now, and things that are heavily frowned upon. Humanity has done in one form or another, and throughout the ages. I'm not saying it's right by any means, so please.
I think there's even smaller nuances like that half of us can't even accept or believe or understand about each other. I mean, for example, if I saw a guy outside walking down the road with a gun strapped to his hip, I'd be like, oh my God, phoning all my friends. Guess what I just saw? Oh my God, you guys, it's like, so what? It's second nature. I'm not saying I don't approve of fire weapons and stuff like that, but most people in this country do. They'd be like, so, oh my God, what's going on? And it's like, well, it's what they do in the States and a lot of other countries in the world, so...
Right. So, I mean, our own morality is always that question throughout humanity, is what I'm trying to tie it back into. I'm not saying by any means that what the aliens are allegedly doing is right by any means. I'm just saying we, as humanity, have done similar, if not worse, things to our own kind. So
Yeah.
You know what?
and-
I
and
think
it-
the whataboutism is a dangerous game to play because we could do that about everything, and that essentially it's a justification for wrongs. I mean, it's like saying it's. I'm not saying it's right, but we do it too. Like, you know, like it's like when somebody cheats on someone and you're like, listen, I know what you did was wrong, but you know, I guess everybody does it, you know.
right, I'm not
What?
excusing what they're doing by any means. I'm just saying that, like, you know, it's kind of weird because
what do
like
you mean by
we
what
do
you're
that
saying,
in the
though?
United States.
What do you
We
mean
do
by
that-
what you're saying? You know, like what are the implications of? So let me just to get you to clarify what you mean. When you say, well, we do it too, what does that mean to you? What does
So
that mean?
means to me, okay, so my analogy is basically how, you know, how like Trump says people from certain countries should not be allowed to come to the U.S. because they are the R-wordists and other
Yeah.
things. So if you look at it that way, we're basically saying we don't want space aliens instead of illegal aliens. We know that they're bad because, you know, some of the things that they do, and we don't want them here, basically, or like, you know, we can't trust them, or you know that they're evil. But what I'm saying is that we have the same problems in our own society before we go throwing stones at, you know, other countries, other nations about what they do. That's not necessarily a reason to completely say that, you know, they're evil or whatever as a whole. But that's my take on it. Like, I understand. I'm not saying, but if they're doing some of the alleged things that they're doing, that they're good by any means.
Yeah, but
I'm saying, like, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror as humanity and as a society.
Look at us and the way we've treated animals over the past 100 or so years. I'm no animal activist, don't get me wrong. I'm just using it as an analogy.
Right.
Now, just imagine, even if we're trying to help to save them animals, they must be so fearful of us for what we do. Just imagine, I mean, there's probably some cultures in this world that don't believe that we stick a rope or a bit of string in the river and catch a fish and then throw it back when that's their lifeline. That's like sacrilege to them. It's like you're doing that for sport, you know. And what's that thing? What's that fish? Is it the sturgeon you get caviar from? Have you ever seen them squeezing the fish to get the eggs out?
Yeah.
And you know, and
I still don't understand. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so let me give you a more accurate, like, explanation of what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get from
Let me
you
just
two.
finish my point. What I'm saying is, imagine we're doing things to animals for sport or just to get part of an animal for our enjoyment, our food, whatever. Imagine trying to tell them animals it's okay, you'll be fine. We just want to do this. We just want to do that. They must be terrified, them animals. They don't understand.
Right. So when Lear is talking about morals, what I'm suggesting is that we're just as morally corrupt of a lot of things. That he's saying, if we don't have the same moral, you know, if they're not evil, they definitely don't have the same morals. What I'm saying,
I think he's being
is,
charitable. I think he's trying to be charitable because people.
Perhaps not. I mean, I'm just using his words. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just saying, maybe we just do not understand about abductions, etc. And it's just how humanity thinks it's evil, it's horrible, what they're doing, blah 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 blah.
You'll
To
have
them,
to tell her that
it's
because
like,
I told her 8 o'clock.
you know,
Okay.
you don't get me, do you guys?
Sorry, the lady was at the unicorn was asking me about something. There's a lot of kid stuff going on because of, you guys understand. But anyway, I'm still so like, for example, what I mean in terms of what I'm looking for here in terms of an answer is, okay, so again, I'm going to use this just like you guys are using humanity. Most people don't do what you're talking about. Most people, you're talking about things like delicacies. shark fin soup, for example, is like one nation's delicacy. Caviar is like literally not a predominantly American thing. It's a very rich people's thing. And even the American population think that rich people have very unethical qualities, unethical practices that we don't agree with. We think that it needs to stop and end. So what you're suggesting, what it sounds like to me you're suggesting, and I'm not going to get into the good or bad necessarily debate, but at least in terms of this argument, what bothers me about this argument is when people say, listen, the worst of us do this, so how come all of what we're seeing is considered bad? Because the people that do this are considered the worst of us. I mean, it's not like we're not talking about lions eating gazelle, which is just nature. We're talking about people doing things that are outside of what's a natural thing. People eating deer is not outside of nature. That is a natural thing. People
but the slaughter of the dolphins in Japan,
again, how many
things
people
like
do
that.
If you were to think about how do we view that, even you yourself, who's not you don't even live in their culture, but you see it as a wrong thing. Our whole nation, for the most part, sees. I mean, there are animal activists who are like ready to die, so people stop making meat in this country. You would never say again that the worst of us are just like, oh, it's okay because the worst of us do these things. So that means that we're dealing with the worst of them. That would mean, in essence, we're dealing with the worst of them.
Yeah. I mean, we could definitely be dealing with the worst of them in those situations. But like data suggests, I'm looking at a book called Sky People right now. It's not always the worst case scenarios. I know a lot of the data that we look at over here is worst case scenarios, and there are bad things, but there are some good things too. So, but that's near here or there. I mean, like we've talked about this in the past
exhaustively.
Exhaustively.
I could do it. I could do it every day, but I think at some point we gotta there's we kind of can't. I just don't want. I can't It would be irresponsible of me to not point out that aspect of it. The fact that
absolutely
we are comparing the worst of us to what they're doing by saying that the worst of us do it, so therefore there's like a canceling out of bad. Like it's a canceling out. That's exactly what it sounds like to me.
It's not a canceling out, but more an acceptance of the nature of I think pretty much anything that lives on the planet and perhaps the universe. We all have to eat by killing other things,
whether it be plants or
for
animals.
sustainability. Yeah, and I think it's just the nature of
Are you okay with
reality.
Are you okay with being a resource?
As a resource, I do not, but whether I like it or not, I am a resource.
Do you think that you should? Okay, so we're talking about laying down and allowing because that's just the way things are, or should we resist that?
No, I mean, I in the bigger picture of nature, I look at it as I am a resource. When I die, bacteria and things and worms are gonna eat what's left of me. So, like, I am a resource for them. There is this cycle of life. It's nature. It just happens. I am a resource, whether I like it or not. Whether if it's I don't want to die prematurely. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to. That's not what I mean. But I don't want I don't want to get zapped by something and then be like, oh well, that's part of nature. I wouldn't like that. No, 100%. That's ridiculous. I would never want that for myself or anybody else. But I'm just saying that in the bigger picture, we are a resource at the end of the day for something else to live in, something else to thrive.
Recognizing that is one thing. Accepting that as kind of a blasé reality is another thing. Like we could be a resource for lions, we could be a resource for sharks, but we don't say, listen, kids, sharks. We swim in the ocean, and sometimes sharks eat us. That's just the way it is, If one comes to you and tries to eat you, just go with it, because one day you're gonna die anyway, and you'll be in the ground, and then the ground will eat you too. I'm obviously being facetious. I'm joking.
Right.
I'm joking.
But I think if we perhaps look at these beings as part of nature, maybe we could
coexist and choose like the one. So hey, listen, all
not coexist, but accept them that they are
and not
Maybe
resist.
they're like sharks and they're part of nature. They're part of, the
Maybe.
bigger nature.
Maybe they're on a war footing.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I mean by that is, if us three were in combat together, we was in like a unit out in the middle of Afghanistan or wherever, our morals would go out the window because we'd just fight to survive, wouldn't we? The things we do in daily life would be totally different from what we'd have to do to survive, to fight every single day while we was out there. So maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they've got no option other than to come to another planet and harvest this or research that. Maybe they're doing things.
How would you determine this, right? This is a good question. How do you determine what the nature of the phenomena is? What would be the kind of things you would look for those kind of answers?
The cow mutilations and things like that, and I think there's been theories out there.
Those
genetics.
things would only tell you what they would only verify the theory that you just presented, that there is a necessity for doing so, right? There has to be. They wouldn't do it for nothing. I mean,
for genetic research for the survival of their species.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
That's a theory, right? What other ways would you determine what their intention? Like, what are they doing here? What kind of data would you look for?
Maybe they're looking for a cure, because there are a lot of stories going back in ufology years and years ago about them. There's something genetically wrong with them and they need to start their race again or something like that. So maybe they're looking for a cure, or I don't know. I don't think if they were out to attack us to get us, they would have done it a long time ago. So it seems to be very little. Every now and again there's an interaction, so that says to me it must be some sort of research, or they might be desperate. They might be searching the galaxy for, I don't know, help in some way. Not help what we call, but help in some way, and maybe they kind of found it. I mean, they're not abducting people every single day. You're not looking on the news and they say, ladies and gentlemen, last night 17 people were abducted or vanished, blah blah blah. Maybe they're going to various different planets around the galaxy and universe, and that's why they're not here that often, and we don't know what they're doing. It's one whole big hot potato.
That's so. What if they could talk to us? Like, what if they could talk to us and tell us what they wanted, what they were doing here?
Excuse me.
Well, I think personally, we should absolutely abandon all of our science fiction and anything to do with our storytelling whatsoever, because I don't think any of it relates to what their purpose is whatsoever. People
they're coming here to like blow up the planet and steal our water. That sounds ridiculous.
Forget Star Trek, Star Wars, Independence Day, this, that, and the other. I bet you it's nothing like that whatsoever.
I bet.
What would you say it is? What would you say is? Marquise, what do you think it is? No, I do. I absolutely like. I think we're here to discuss. Like everybody should have their point of view. I know you asked the question because you have a perspective. You wouldn't have asked the question if you didn't have a perspective, right?
I asked the question because I want to understand, like, how do people come to their. I think I've made this pretty. Like, I'm always curious as to why people believe the things that they do, versus just what. Like, well, I know what you think. I know the theories that you're coming up with. I know the theories you reject them. I just want to know why. Like, I think that's more fruitful than telling you what I think, because what I think really, I mean, Garyoki gets really upset, and he's already thinking about. Often, I don't want to, perpetuate that feeling. So I don't want to upset him.
I think we're all good, right? We're all pretty much friends here.
We are definitely friends here by this point.
Oh, by the way, let me know when you want to hear that one story that I wanted to discuss as well.
Yeah, well, let me finish. Let me ask you one more question, and we definitely want to hear that story though, because I'll ask you one more question. So, like, Do you guys believe there is any information, any data that would give you any more ideas besides cattle mutilations and abductions, or even if you include those two things? You know, do you think there's any other data that would help give you an idea of what they're here for, what their intentions are, or anything like that? Like, is there anything else?
Some of the data is interesting as some of the data makes me wonder if they're already here and they're flourishing in places that we're not allowed access to because or have a hard time accessing. Places like Antarctica, places deep underneath the ocean, because it seems like even in Fravor's case, this thing was making contact with something under the water. So I have questions. Yeah, that they could definitely be underwater or in places where we're not allowed access to. Like we made treaties to not go to Antarctica, is what I've heard before.
What's up with that? It's true, we have.
That's really,
like,
really crazy. Like, why? Like, who gets to decide? But they're making it off limits as though perhaps there could be something over there that that we as humanity are not allowed to see yet. It could be, it could very well be.
I don't think it's us as humanity, it's us as the civilian population. We have got no resources whatsoever to investigate any of this. It's all the government or whoever you want to, it's all of them. So, I mean, none of us could go to the Antarctic and just, check out things there, investigate all the stories that have been told. So I think it's out of our hands.
I mean, that kind of answers my question, Garyoki. I'm still trying to get an idea of you for specific. I mean, I think I get what the Armenian. I get how you come up with your theories and your perspective. I think I understand some of it. I mean, if I were to make a wild guess right now and say, okay, how do I see your thought process? You reject any theory that is black and white, good or bad. You reject it entirely, because to say that anything in nature and life is black or white, is good or bad entirely, is, first of all, it doesn't show itself at all. There's nothing in our reality that shows us that everything is good or bad. So anything is 100% good or bad. That's kind of the impression I get. I also get the impression that you reject even the idea of bad. You're more inclined to believe the idea of either benign or good because of similar perspectives that Garyoki had. If they were bad, then we would be gone by now, because they have the capability clearly, and they haven't used it, at least not in our experience. So how could we possibly think that they'd be here to war the world's us? That's kind of the impression I get. But when it comes to good, you're more inclined to accept those theories and be open to them. Not that you're rejecting all theories of bad. You're just more open to them, accepting to them, because, again, if they're not bad and killing us all, then they must either be benign or good. Because there are people that mention good experiences. But I mean, I'm just shooting in the dark. Garyoki, it just seems like you're so jaded by the people, what you've experienced in life in this field, that you're resistant to a lot of things. And again, same with you. Mostly you're resistant to the bad, because, in your words, if they wanted to destroy us, they would have. And Hollywood has conditioned us to think that they're going to war the world's us. So then, they can't be that.
No, I think my whole outlook on it all is, I'm not saying I wouldn't, respect that or whatever because of this, but I've been looking at this, researching it, following it for easily 35, 40 years, and in all of that time, I've gone from one side to the other. They're bad, they can, we don't want to know what's going to happen, or they're good, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm at the stage where I just don't care anymore. I don't care if they're good or they're bad. Wait for something to happen, and then I'll make my mind up.
It'll be too late by then. I mean, if it's good, then who cares? But if it's bad, being passive, or if you will, apathetic is a terrible way to think about this.
Yeah, but I mean,
It is, but what are you gonna do? Even if they are bad, like we're saying that we have no way. I mean, if they are bad, like you're suggesting, right?
I didn't say anything this time.
No, but I'm just saying, like, not this time, but like overall, like if they're okay, let's just say they're bad. As humanity right now, we have nothing in our arsenal that can even. We can't do anything. If they wanted to go full R word and take over, we could not do anything, right? Yeah. Is that a plausible
Well, let me ask
scenario?
You this. Does it seem like they're interested in eating us, or does it seem like they're interested in influencing our consciousness?
I don't know any cases of where they're eating us, so my guess would be yeah, definitely consciousness related, or
I mean, am I being out far? Am I?
No, I don't think that's too far. No, I get that.
I think
So
personally,
then, by that, what do you think a potential action that we could do? Again, I remember, I believe that awareness is the key to this whole thing. Right. The key to whatever it is, good or bad, benign or otherwise. Awareness is the answer to all of it. It's not about like, oh, we got to go fight them. We got to start an army, and we got to go and find new blow-up weapons to go fight the evil. That's ridiculous. We would never win.
Right. The best thing I think we could do in that scenario is find out ways to recognize if there is like suggested infiltration of high government positions that are already infiltrated by these species. The way we could fight it is bring it out into the light, and the way you do that is try to find out who these people are, and we would have to go from there. But first, we would have to recognize that there is a threat, and the only way to do that is expose specific elements that have already infiltrated our government, and say, look, this is real. This is a real threat, and we have to go from.
What if somebody tried to do that, but we rejected them anyway? What if somebody said that potentially by revealing the truth about the phenomena, if they believe it's a threat, it would predicate an action that the human race would be just wholly unprepared for? Then would it be irresponsible to reveal the secrets of the alien presence, or would it be, what's?
I think I, as a person, I owe it to humanity. If I were to discover such a thing, I would owe it to everybody in my heart to say, look, this is what's going on, and this is who these people are. And I would do it, even if I had high clearance. I would put that out there in such a way that, you can't go by, oh, what are these guys going to do if we do this? Like, because their long game is obviously to keep this system going, right? That's the long game for the aliens or the EBE that are trying to conceal themselves. So the only way to, it's almost like a threat. Well, if you let humanity know we're going to blow up the world. Well, I think your end game, if you're evil, is going to be that or something worse. So I'm going to do what I have to do and try to reveal who you are, regardless of whether you're like it or not.
What if by doing that, the human race will resist that thought, and it'll push us further back into the clutches of this phenomena, whatever that means.
So by resisting that, we're going to be
by
worse
resisting
off?
The wrong way, by resisting the way that you're suggesting, right? I'm just, again, this is theoretical here. I'm not even postulating. Right. It's like
are there theories? Is there like data to suggest what you're saying, or is it just like a complete hypothetical?
There is absolutely data to suggest that this is a. But that's I want to go with the hypothetical because what you guys did was hypothetical. So let's just go with hypothetical. On the contrary, you hypothetically said if they haven't destroyed us, then they wouldn't. Why would they destroy us now when they haven't before, right? They have the power, so what they haven't, so therefore they're not bad, right? We've got that theory out there. We do bad things, so we're doing hypotheticals back and forth here. So hypothetically, if by telling the human race, this is what's going on, people will not only reject it, but reject it violently. Okay, like violently. The chaos wouldn't come from the knowledge of the phenomena. The chaos would come from the rejection. And given that this phenomena may, hypothetically in a situation, have a psychological and consciousness hold on manipulation of the human race, they could influence people to do this, to fight back against these narratives. No, that's not true. They healed my uncle. No, that's not true. They came to me in my bedroom and said that they're here to help us. They're pushing us to another level of evolution. And there are people who religiously will die for those beliefs today. They're in this. I've talked about them before myself. They've threatened me sometimes on Twitter and stuff, for posting stuff on Twitter. Not even for making just posting stuff. So like they're there. If that is what would happen on a grand scale, then again, would it not be irresponsible for somebody to just tell just tell them, right? That would be the irresponsible thing, because you got to do it right. The long game is slowly acclimate people to this idea of what they are, what they represent, so that they're ready for it. When they're ready for it, you tell them the truth. But right now, even telling what may be a part of the phenomenon, not saying it's good or bad, but saying what it may imply, it causes a level of resistance that scares people into hiding, literally.
I don't know. I think we've been acclimated to the whole idea that they're here for a very long time. We've had, those abduction cases in the public sphere back from Betty and Barney Hill days. So I think I think humanity is definitely it's in our pop culture every day. It's not like
craziness.
It's not like
Karaoke's point. Craziness is in our pop culture. They're coming to blow us up. That's not.
But even if the craziness is the fact, like the point of view that they might have hostile intentions is not a new view by any means. So whether they're doing it in spaceships trying to blow up whole cities, or they're doing it through other nefarious means, it would not be any kind of surprise to anybody at this point. They have video games. Humans must die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is in our pop culture.
I think
for
your
that.
imagination is limited in this situation, my friend. Yeah, because what I think is missed in these kinds of conversations is the reality of and when I try not to mention it because I don't want to upset Karaoke, but like there are some very clear implications of the phenomena's capabilities that I don't think you're taking into consideration when you say that. I think that it would be better for Battle LA to happen than what is some people hypothesize about the phenomena. I think it would be better for independence.
How would you suggest we fight it? How would you suggest we fight this phenomenon?
Well, I think we're screwed. But I think the only way to whether it be aliens or catastrophes or our own doing, you know what I mean, like us or like in general. I'm not talking about aliens are gonna get us. I mean, just like we're just so screwed as a society that whether it's the aliens or a sickness, we're doomed. We're so stupid. We're doomed.
So let's give up, basically. What do we do? How do we fight it?
I don't believe in giving up. Look what I'm doing right now. Well, what I think the only thing to do is be aware and resist in your consciousness. So, for example, when the phenomena visits you in your bedroom, instead of saying, "Oh, they want to teach me spiritual teachings," you recognize that you're literally being manipulated. You're being taken advantage of. You are experiencing something of an invasion of your consciousness, and by resisting, you do not allow the phenomena to do whatever it is that it's doing to you, because ultimately, what does it mean? I mean, if it's true that there's a connection to your consciousness, your soul, and the afterlife, now this phenomena might be from this other dimension of reality, or shameless plug, or whatever. Then what you may be doing is you may be in essence opening yourself up to potentially some kind of an exchange that you don't fully understand. But that of
what you're suggesting is that the way you would fight it is basically in our sleep.
No, you have to,
so to speak. I mean,
you have to subconsciously, consciously, meditation, awareness, education, and truly in being inquisitive. That is how you resist this phenomena. If whatever I'm suggesting, And again, I'm not. The good ones are. I think there are good ones out there. I just don't think they're breaking into people's bedrooms and freaking them out and then taking their booty. But either way, that's neither here nor there. What I mean is, I think that it is the resistance that needs to, when it comes to what we do, it's the resistance. It's the consciousness resistance. And opening ourselves up to truly good phenomena. Ones that are not imposing, ones that are not forceful, ones that are not sneaking into your bedroom at nighttime when not giving you answers. Betty and Barney Hill. Betty asked them why at one point in the abduction experience, and they wouldn't answer her. They told her all this stuff that they wanted to tell her, but when she asked questions, they didn't answer her. Why? Because they don't want her to know the truth. So if you think that the government's lying, well, the phenomena is also not telling us the truth. Even the experiencers, they tell them what they want them to know, not what the experiencer wants to know. So if, in essence, what we're dealing with is a very manipulative and deceptive phenomena that we don't even know, that even, if you will, researchers have suggested is not, they're doing something that's not in our best interest. And if they are, well, why aren't they telling us? Because they don't, because again, it's clearly a deception. Clearly, like the data is cut and dry. However, there is good, and that good is, again, isn't imposing, forcing, taking, deceiving, lying, not answering questions, and then leaving you with nothing but trauma and missing memories. That's not what happens with good.
Carrie?
I told you.
What do you say to this?
Told you.
I think for us to ultimately decide whether they are good or bad, one, it'll be too late.
Right.
Because you think for everyone to think, yeah, they're good. We're not talking about them ensuring all the blossom and flowers come out every spring and it looks lovely everywhere. No, we're talking about people. The hypothesis is people are thinking if we go to nuclear war, they'll stop it. They'll shoot nuclear missiles down in the air, whatever. So if it gets to that stage where they have to perform some sort of action that makes us realise they're good, they're doing it in our interest, then it's going to be too late. If it's bad, they have to do something so big and so drastic for us to say, yep, they're bad. And in that case, I'm talking about like an Independence Day kind of attack, where, like the Armenian said earlier, all they got to do is do an EMP attack on the planet and like leave us without technology or electronics for electricity for 20 minutes, half an hour, and
yeah.
20
It's true, man. It's true.
Dang. I mean, we can. I think we'll adapt to that. That's not a very big. I mean, it's a big problem for medical facilities and so forth, and like production. But
how about
race
refrigerators, man? Without electricity,
they'll
we don't
go
eat.
bad like that. But there are people like we're not all going to die from that. Many people probably will.
Millions,
yeah, but
millions,
but there are
like within a week.
Right. Yeah, but there are billions on this planet, and there are solutions to those issues that you're talking about. So to
I mean,
think that like we won't find solution, like we'll figure it out. There will be suffering. There will be
solutions, but if we are without electricity or tech I'm talking about the whole world now. I'm not, you know what I mean? It's not like they're going to be able to ship goods from one place to another if every single battery on the world is fried. For cars, for transportation, for anything. Without electricity, we're done.
I think all they have to do.
What do you mean by that? Like that the whole human, like 8 billion people are dead tomorrow. Like we're talking about a change in civilization versus a extinction.
I think so forget people dying from starvation and things like that. That would cause such a chaos in society where there would be. I mean, think about it. We're not going to have access to radio. We're not going to have access to anything. I think there would be factional in your own neighborhood. You would be doing whatever you can to feed your family, and a lot of people here have weapons. I mean, put 2 and 2 together, you know what would happen if you have to feed your family or somebody else have to feed their family.
Oh, of course, yeah.
They have to do what they do.
There's no illusion.
So complete chaos. Complete chaos. If it's like I said, if you're not dying of starvation, you're gonna be
Everybody?
committing very violent acts. I
Everybody?
think
Or just like
most
a lot of people?
Most people.
Okay.
I think most people, because
Most
when you're in
people
that
think
state of mind, there is no.
I think we'll
Listen,
survive.
the civility that we're afforded in our everyday lives are because we have a lot of freedoms and we have access to things, and that's where civility comes from. It's civilization is because we learn to live together, and in those circumstances, it would be very, very factional. It would be very dangerous.
and that's where our morals would change instantly as well.
Correct.
You guys ever see
Correct.
100%? But again, we will survive that. I mean, I don't mean like everybody. I mean humanity itself will survive that. Again, I'm talking about. Guys, listen. All right, so that's it. That's an interesting, theoretical, calamity. But what I'm talking about is something that's, again, that's bad, but like that's not as sinister as what I'm suggesting.
Right, and you were saying that they don't want nukes to
No.
happen because they actually, from what I'm gathering, like the way you're looking at them is they kind of want to farm us without us knowing that we're being farmed. Like they don't want to put an end to us that way.
They don't just want to farm us. They want us to believe that it's for our own good. They want us to accept that. They want us to be okay with it, and they literally are doing that because the action that the thing that they're farming isn't your body. Not that I know of.
It's our consciousness. It's a war on our mind,
Your
basically.
consciousness, and
Right.
I mean, again, it's cut and dry. Like if you look at the data does not lie. It says that they get inside of your head, they control your body, they paralyze you, they get inside of your mind, they tell you things that are, we don't even know if it's true or not because they leave you with no answers, and it affects your consciousness forever. It changes you. The experience changes. Whether you believe they're your space brothers or not, they change you for the rest of your entire life. And they do it without your consent. And even when you may consent eventually, but even that is part of the manipulation. It's part of getting you to accept that. So ultimately, and then by extension, you are now an ambassador of the phenomena, because you get to go tell people, oh, guess what? Yeah, they did this to me and it hurt and it was terrible, but then they healed me. Now you're an ambassador for the phenomena. Now you can tell people about the wonders of the phenomena so that they can say, see, they're not all bad. And if it happens to them, you got people saying, I wish I was abducted. There's a lot of abductees that think that's insane. Like a lot of us. Even the people that think good about the phenomena say that people that say they want the phenomena to come to them don't know what they're talking about. Like they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're asking for. So again, you are now, by extension, their ambassador. You think that is an accident. You're not paying attention to what's happening right in front of us. It's like people who say, I don't know, I'm not going to use that because it's a racist thing. I hate when people do that. But like, it's not about whether all the phenomena is bad. It's about what we're dealing with. Like, that's the stuff that is not good, not the whole thing. We don't even know. We don't even know how much what's going on out there. That to say that every single thing out there is bad it's wrong. It's literally just wrong. However, to say that what we're dealing with is bad. If there's a shark in the ocean, that's not bad. If there's a single shark that's going around eating people, like targeting and we wouldn't say, oh, we just don't understand. We know that one shark needs to be like stopped.
Right.
Not all of them, obviously,
Right.
but that one,
Yeah.
that's kind. Again, I keep reiterating.
If it's the shark that loves human blood, yeah, you want to.
You're gonna want to stop that thing. So when it
Right.
comes to the phenomena, they don't want us. They don't want us gone. They want us alive. They want us compliant, and they want to change civilization to what is more conducive to their agenda. And that's what's being alleged is happening. And by the way, it's working. The consciousness of the people is so chaotic. I mean, think about the conversations we have today. Karaoke just expressed literal apathy as a consequence of being jaded by his experience with this with studying the phenomena, right? It's apathy. Like, man, I don't even. It is what it is. Whatever happens is gonna happen, and it's gonna be too late anyway. So whatever. It just doesn't even matter anymore. And I don't trust anything because nothing can be trusted. And he's not wrong about that, by the way. But that is by design. That is by design, to create that in the consciousness of the people, and then to obfuscate the truth through. Again, human beings are doing it for them. They're doing it for them, whether it be creating ambassadors in the UFO community, telling us that there are space brothers, or creating this conscious shift in politicians who just so happen to automatically create the joke, oh, it's not real, don't worry about it. It's all a part of ultimately the goal, which is to keep human beings in a state that is conducive for their agenda, whatever that means. And by its nature, that is not a good thing. By the nature of what it's doing and how it's doing it, that is not a good thing. I mean, I'm not stating anything that all of us don't already think. You just don't think that my perspective is correct, right? The things that I'm saying are not wrong. The phenomenon is here. It is in people's bedrooms. It is manipulating their consciousness. It is healing them. People are, after the healing, saying that they pull out phenomena as their space brothers. There's a lot of people, like, this is what's happening. I'm not stating lies. However, my perspective about what that means is what it ultimately is not accepted by the UFO community. And I think that is not an accident. I think that is by design.
Very good. Yeah, I totally get your point of view. I do.
But it's wrong.
I'm not disagreeing.
Karaoke, isn't it? You're wrong, Marquise. You're wrong. It's like my favorite quote. You're wrong. So tell us your story.
I mean, I get where karaoke is coming from as well. Like, I'm not discounting his, what he's saying either. I get both of your point of view. I understand most people's point of view. So somebody's gonna hit the nail on the head, and it's gonna be what it is one day, maybe. Hopefully.
One day soon. I would prefer everybody else's. All of your theories are better than mine. All of them. I would prefer, just so you guys understand, anybody who thinks that I think these things because I want to you're dumb. Like, you're not paying it. I have children. Do you think that I want that for my kid? Are you insane? I want your ideas. The beauty of Space Brothers helping us move to another level of evolution. The idea that they want to protect us from nuclear war because they love us and care about our development. The idea that they're non-interventionalists and sometimes they help people here and there, but it's just because they're studying, because they just need a little bit of DNA for theirs. Those are like the better options.
Those are definitely better options, and I wouldn't want. Yeah, obviously, I would not make up a scenario where it's the worst possible scenario there is.
No.
Like, that doesn't make sense. No one's accusing you of that. I don't think.
I think that some people have said to me before, like, for example, and this is, again, you guys really helped me out yesterday, because I really appreciate what you said to me, and karaoke. To your point earlier today, man, we love you here, for one. We think we all appreciate you being here. First of all, the pushback, I think, is some of the most important pushback, because your voice is a very common voice in ufology, and it needs to be heard. You need to be heard on a platform. I can't believe you even, again, I appreciate you coming here and doing that. Every time you do it, I appreciate you doing that. And I know it drives you insane. I know it drives you insane to hear some of the things that I say, and you still come back.
Yeah, because I love it.
Hey, we love you too, man. Seriously, I really.
Yeah, for real.
No, I didn't say I love you, motherfucker. I said I love it.
All right. You know what? Well, you know what, man? You know what? In that case.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm burnt out. I've had enough. So,
yeah, I hear you.
That's the way
people are tired. People are tired. People are tired of waiting. People are tired of the conspiracies. People are tired of the lies.
I'm one of them.
Nobody wants that.
I'll say again, like I always say, I'm no Mick West. I'm not trying to debunk things, whatever. But I've seen it, heard it, and
yeah. You bought the T-shirt, exactly. Yeah.
Grift away. I've heard every scenario and possibility, before, and I'm just waiting now. I've had enough. Just show me it,
Yeah.
But I'm more than happy to keep my hand in and listen to fools like Marquise, who's normally wrong anyway.
You're wrong, Marquise.
Yeah, you're wrong.
That's so. I don't know. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that accent eventually. I'm gonna get that accent one of these days.
You sound. I did say it on chat the other night. I typed it and it wouldn't let it wouldn't approve it, because I said you sound like Dick Van Dyke from the Mary Poppins films. and because I said
I guess
Dick
it's
Van
more,
Dyke,
it is more Old English. It thought
Yeah.
it was a bad word. I didn't see that.
exactly. That's why it wouldn't post it,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So yeah, that's your accent. You're no Hugh Grant, but
No, it's Old English. It's not like British.
it's what Cockney sort of London, chirpy Cockney, World War II kind of London. Hello, mate. You're right.
Hello.
Yeah, pick me a
Hello,
chat.
mate.
Yeah.
Chap.
Hello, mate.
Top of the morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh wait, I think that's
Irish.
That's
Morning.
Irish.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
You're-
Irish.
That's an Irish accent
Yeah.
you've got.
Sorry.
Two things I want to say. One is I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to say something that's I'm going to go downer, upper, and then your story, the Armenian.
Let's go.
Platonic Zombie asked me in the chat. He said, "So how is the threat narrative not also a part of it? How is that not by design? Just because it's not popular opinion? What's the point?" And I said, it is part of it. Threat narrative is part of the deception. And he said, "What's the point in pointing this out then?" Very simple. Because they control what threat means. In your consciousness, you think that threat means destruction.
No. The government control all of this. They're
Yeah,
the
but
ones
who's
that
in the
told me there's a
but I
threat
I
and-
contend that there are elements of the government that are controlled by the phenomena, that are influenced
Oh,
by the phenomena.
I 100% agree with you. I agree with you.
Then
but
that means the phenomena
like I've
is also a part of that.
Yeah, like I've always said along as well, I think the government are reluctant, the world governments are reluctant to tell us anything about aliens or disclosure because they want to be in control, not somebody else that's going to come here and enhance us or help us or whatever.
I mean, that's also I believe there is a joint effort, again, by the phenomena and by the government, by elements of the government, not the whole government, but like there are elements of the government and the phenomena that are working together. Do we all agree with what that is? Do we all
Absolutely.
believe that there was an
Absolutely,
agreement
yeah.
with some hidden society that didn't tell the public about it? I mean, Laura
Absolutely.
Eisenhower said that Dwight D. Eisenhower had nothing to do with that deal, that it was done by MJ-12 behind his back, which means there's a small faction of not great humans working with the phenomena, which means it's not our friend. Because
they
those are the
are
people that are against us.
And them people that are against us, in my mind, this is my opinion, they are the deep state.
I'm not saying, again, we're all on the same page with this, guys.
Yeah.
What we're not on the same page is that we're neglecting to accept the fact that the phenomena is also working with those deep state, right? We all agree that the MJ-12 is a thing. We all agree we all believe that the deal that was made between humans and aliens was real, but it was done in a clandestine manner by a clandestine group of people, and behind the American people in the world's back. They sold us out to something.
Or to protect, like we know that MJ-12 existed. Then the part that we don't 100% know is whether this deal was done in a clandestine manner was because they are the Judases of humanity, and they basically are selling us out for 30 pieces of silver, or whether they had our best interest in mind, and they were basically doing it in the manner that they were doing it in, because they also believe that if humanity were to be privy of the information that these things exist, that it would not be for the betterment of the planet, especially at the time.
That's what I contend. That's what I've been saying. I mean,
Right, so
yeah.
Either or.
I think it's a combination of both.
Disclosure would be terrible.
Yeah, but not because of societal collapse. However, the idea that
I think that would be an element, societal collapse.
Well, imagine if the government's like, listen, we made it that there are these people, they made a deal with these aliens that they would allow people to be abducted, and you're like, oh, okay, well that's kind of weird. Oh, by the way, they when you die, whatever your soul is, it kind of goes to them too. We made a deal about that too. And I'm not saying that's the case, by the way. I'm like, something so insane. You're like, what? You sold the soul of you? Like that would be the because abductions are not even that prevalent. I mean, there is a lot of people, millions, but like there are 8 billion people on this planet. Like nobody's gonna freak out because of that. They're gonna be like, that sucks. Stop doing it. Whatever. Let's resist. I'll get my guns. But like, there needs to be something else. There needs to be a much bigger implication than just that.
I think what you just said there, Marquise, that would be announced probably at least a year after disclosure, because I think once there are aliens, everyone in the world is told there are aliens. It doesn't. People won't need to know what they are, if they're good or bad, or if they
No.
take our
No.
thoughts or whatever.
No.
It's just the fact that there's another sentient, intelligent race.
No.
Religions would collapse.
No. No.
And there's your civil.
No, people are too stupid. Listen to me right now. Listen to me right now. I don't care what the implications are. I'm going to play video games until the day I die. I'm going to eat, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to hang out with my fam. I'll watch TV series, play video games, listen to UFO podcasts, read books. I'm going to do what I do till the day I die because I enjoy it way too much. All right? And I can guarantee you that most people, they're going to be watching Seinfeld. They're going to be watching Shameless. They're going to be watching the next season, the next iteration of The Walking Dead. They're going to be watching the next iteration of Game of Thrones with Jon Snow. Okay, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be going to church saying, the devil's lying to you. It ain't aliens. They're going to be doing the same thing that they are. Yeah. You gotta pay me $15 and I'll send you some water and it'll heal you. They're going to be doing the same thing. It'll keep the aliens away. They're going to be doing the same thing they did before, only they're going to capitalize on the phenomenon. Yeah. There's nothing going to change, my guy. I appreciate what you're saying, but I'm telling you, we are too conditioned to be okie doke for anything to really change. People are not, they're apathetic. Look what happened to January 6th. Look what happened with, I mean, like a few people. If there were real, if people really wanted to do something, Trump would still be in office. He'd be the grand leader of the United States of America. He'd be God leader forever until he died. All right? People don't care. Most people don't care.
They do, though. People do care.
Not enough to do anything.
It's just the alien-influenced government have decided to take these people out of the picture or put stumbling blocks in their way, which is happening now.
I think you're right. And in the United States, it's different than a country like France, where they raise the retirement age by 1 year and the whole country goes into upheaval.
Yeah.
In the U.S., it's different, definitely. But that's not to say all of humanity would react, not like whatever. Yeah,
I don't see it. I just don't. Even if it's the worst case scenario, we're all gonna die in 2035. It's over. I think that 2027 something's gonna happen probably around that time. But I don't think it's the end of the world, and I think that ultimately we are going to experience some severe. I think that there potentially could be cataclysms by 2035. I think we got a little bit more time, but not a lot. But I will say I got to address Platonic Zombie. This is just my, Platonic Zombie. I don't know how you do this. Okay, I love you, my guy. I do. I'm not like karaoke. I do love you. I don't know how you do this. I got to figure this out because. Let me read what he said, and I want you guys to give me your perspective. I really want to get the Armenian story in here, though. That we don't. So I find what Lear says to be more plausible. Okay. That's. We're gonna compound these things together.
Listen,
that we don't really know what they.
Tell me about weaponized guys, because I ain't got a clue what you're talking about.
No. This. That we don't really know what they are and what they want. So why would they come out and say they exist? When it just causes more questions and leads to distrust and uncertainty. That is there. Okay, so you ever been in this? There's more. I want to read all of it.
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, okay, you've read it? Okay, the next thing is, it doesn't make sense. If you claim they control all aspects of experience, then all of these claims can't be trusted and all amount of proof would be invalid. I don't understand how you came to that understanding. Help me out here.
I think I'm not sure, but when he says I find what Lear says to be more plausible, I think he's talking that specific thing about the president coming out and saying those things.
Yeah, I got that. But
okay.
Why do you do this to me, guys? Listen. That was like the majority of his. If I said I love pizza, pizza's great, pizza's the best, but sometimes I really get tired of pizza. You don't say, see, look, even he gets tired of pizza sometimes. Like, what? Yeah, but like most of what he said, was that the phenomena is not good. You understand? Like, you understand? Like, we don't know, but like, he didn't. That wasn't the majority of what he was talking about. I hate when people do that. I hate it when people do that because what you're doing is you're literally creating a narrative off of the least amount of data versus the most amount of data, which is not how you're supposed to come up with any conclusions or theories about anything. You know, like if the president said, I love black people, I love the blacks, they're my favorite, but like in, I don't know, the 70s and 80s, he had a racist case against him because he was discriminating against black people renting from his property. I'm just saying that you don't say, well, he loves black people. Look, he just said it. You go by the most amount of data. If you find out that The Apprentice has tapes where he's dropping the N-bomb, but they kept it because they didn't want to hurt the press, you don't say, well, you know, he said he likes the blacks. First of all, nobody says the blacks except for racist people and black people joking about racist people. So, you know
unless the blacks is a very specific white family with the last name the blacks.
You mean the or they have a much more interesting last name for the, you know. Anyway, Dave Chappelle.
Oh my god.
So, but my point is like, no, dude, like John Lear unequivocally said one thing. This is he said something that was more important than that one thing that you're pointing out. We don't know. But if you
Can
look,
we get Platonic Zombie in here?
I would love. Oh my gosh!
Because
Yeah.
it's really hard when you're actually typing and you know it's not always, the message doesn't always come through clearly when people are typing, unfortunately, and it's really hard to.
It is hard because sometimes he'll say something like in response to me, and I'll think it's like a, and I'm like, no, I agree, and I'm like, what? You agree? You just said, like, I won't. It's very sometimes confusing, but let me just say this real quick. John Lear said that 90% of the alien presence is not good. That was a statement. Then he said, but we, you know, even if it's not bad, you know, like might not know what their morals are, but it still isn't good. You don't say, see, we don't know what it is. You say the same thing that you don't see it that way because that would be the wrong way to interpret that message. Like, again, serial killers have a different moral value system than we do. True. And so therefore you shouldn't think of them as bad. No. That's not what you get out of that. That's what you're doing right now. You're saying, oh, he said that alien 90% is bad. But we don't really know because we have no definitive, like they didn't say, oh, we're here to kill you, or we're here to help you. So we don't really know. But we do know that what they're doing isn't good. Right? It's not good for us at the very least. Plants don't say, look, man, humans need to eat us because they want to live, and so therefore humans are good. No, they say humans are a threat. They want to eat us. If they could eat us all, they would. Like, say, you know, we can't even stop them because we just sit here all day long. So there's nothing we can do about it. Like, that's how they view us, if at all. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm trying to. I don't know how you guys do that. I don't get it.
So he's saying you're the one that's saying aliens control our.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Do aliens control? Am I wrong about that? Do aliens control the experience, or do you? Yeah, do you paralyze yourself when they come into your bedroom, or do they paralyze you? Do you get to go in their craft? Do you walk into their craft? Do you transport yourself into their craft, or do they put you there? Do you spread them cheeks and get ready for the clapping, or do they just do it anyway? Do you what do you mean? I'm not saying that. That's what's happening.
I'm kind of understanding what he's saying. If you read the sentence back to back, I understand what he's saying. And he's saying if that's true, then no amount of anything we gather from them can be trusted, which is what you believe as well, right?
That's what I believe. Okay. Yeah.
So that's what he's saying.
You're
both of you agree.
Yes, but I think what he's saying is that you can't even trust. So, for example, this is what I'm gathering. Platonic Zombie, correct me, okay? Because this is what I hear all the time. And this is my favorite part of talking about this topic. The logic behind this, addressing it. Listen, we don't know their intentions because when they go in people's bedrooms and tell them that there are space brothers, they also do the R word and they heal them. So we don't know. And so therefore we can't say it's bad. That's the wrong conclusion. I don't understand why you would even do that, okay? Because that is not how you should interpret that data. Jacques Vallée has a lot of books talking about the phenomena. he mentions this idea of a control system, that there is an evolutionary directing of the human consciousness by the phenomena. Clearly, they're doing this. If you look at the big data that Jacques Vallée says there's a database of, that big data that he has access to is the phenomena appearing in different places at certain times, in different locations at certain times, doing certain things to people, hearing about their accounts for thousands of years, investigating the mythical implications, going into people's homes, talking about their experiences. There's something we're being manipulated here. And so we don't say, but we don't know why, so, we say, well, what the heck are they doing? And why are they doing it? And why are they hiding it from us? And why are they lying? What's the purpose? They tell one person they're from Venus, they tell another they're from Mars, they tell another they're from the moon, they tell another they're from Pleiadians, they tell another they're from Theta Reticuli, they tell another, why are they doing this? What is it? They let one person fly the craft, the other one gets their cheeks clapped on the craft that the other person is flying, they bring two people together, make them have a baby, they take the baby. What is going on here? You don't say, and so we just don't know, and so therefore, who knows what it is? They could be our friends. That's not how you interpret that data.
That is my homeboy Bryson. Yo.
Yeah, what's up, Bryson?
Sleepy Bryson.
You're not supposed to.
Sleepy
You're not
Bryson.
supposed to tell him I'm here.
I didn't even notice. But yeah, so.
I heard you talking about Judas.
Oh no!
I heard you mention my name.
You mentioned my spirit animal. What's up, y'all? Oh my gosh!
How dare you talk behind my back?
Oh man! Yeah. So the Armenian, your story, tell it, because Bryson's here and he wants to hear it too. We all want to hear this.
Oh my god. Okay. So this is really interesting. I have a couple of stories from that, but my dad's story is this. This is really weird, because I had just recently seen the UFO footage from Kumburgaz, which is in Turkey, and that's the one where you can make the outlines of the. It looks like two aliens inside the spaceship. And I believe that footage is from 2008, but my dad also had a really, really weird encounter, but his was in the 70s. And I don't think there's a UFO element to it, but there's definitely a paranormal element to it. And the weird thing is my dad is the last person in the world that I would think would even believe in anything that has to do with any of this kind of stuff. So he told me a story when he visited over here. So this is the story. Him and my mother, before I was born, in the 1970s, early 1970s, they're traveling in Kumburgaz, which is on the coast of, on the European side of Turkey, near Istanbul. So they're in the car. It's raining like crazy. He said it was raining like cats and dogs out there, and he said he had the absolute worst migraine headache. And this is at night, and they're trying to get to a ferry so they can cross over to another part of Turkey. And the ferry that they're trying to reach is like a couple of miles away. They can actually see it on the road. But as my father is driving in the rain, he hears like this noise, and he's like, oh no, he's like, ugh. He goes, no. He thinks he got a flat, so what he does is he pulls over in the rain, crazy, and he's like, he told me, he goes, I could barely see straight because of the rain, how heavy the rain was, and how bad my migraine was. He goes, I don't know what I was gonna do. He goes, there's no way I'm gonna make the ferry. He gets out of the car and goes to the back where the trunk where the spare tire is, and he's leaning against the car because he has such a crazy migraine. It's raining like crazy. He opens the trunk, and then he notices out of nowhere a person in a white trench coat with a newspaper in his hand. He goes, this guy came out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere. He just appeared, and he goes, and he said, it looks like you have a flat. And my dad, like I said, he has a headache, a migraine, and he goes, yeah. So the guy basically said, he goes, hold my newspaper. Gives the newspaper to my dad. My dad is holding it in his hand. The guy goes around, changes the the flat, completely fixes it, gets up. A few minutes later, maybe like 5 minutes later, I asked him how long did it take for him to change the tire. He goes, not even, he goes like 5 minutes. I go, okay. And the guy gets back up. This guy in the white trench coat gets up. He goes, can I have my newspaper, please? And my dad's like, yeah, here you go. And he noticed at that moment, this person in the white trench coat doesn't have a drop of rain on him. There's no mud on him anywhere. And this guy's on the ground changing a tire, and cats and dogs, it's raining. And my dad is in such disbelief. He's like, he didn't even know what to say or do. The guy just asked for his newspaper, walked off. My mom's still in the car. And she actually asked my dad, he goes, who was it? And my dad goes, I have no idea. He just, out of nowhere, just appeared and just disappeared as soon as this was done. And I thought, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard. The guy's not wet. It's raining like cats and dogs. I don't know. I just thought it's definitely, to me, it's got 100% paranormal, like, written all over it, because you didn't get, like, how in that kind of weather doesn't get any mud on his white trench coat, which is, like, really odd. It's like, that made me think of, like, Men in Black. Are there men in white as well that we don't know about, like white trench coat? And just, I don't know. Anyway, so that was my story. That's one of my stories.
So that's reminds me of Mothman prophecy, kind of. I mean, he didn't tell him that he's from Zeta, from some planet out there, but that's kind of like the Mothman prophecy, right? Dude lands in a craft, comes out next to the dude's window, and just like randomly talks to him about stuff.
Crazy. I mean, in this very specific. Well, I asked my dad. I go, "What do you think that was?" I'm like, "Well, what's your interpretation of that?" He goes, "Well, he said I think that, like, sometimes angels appear, when we need them the most." That was his explanation.
Is he Is he a religious person, like a Christian? Or?
He's Christian. Yeah, he's Christian. Yeah, he's not like super religious or anything like that. But he's not like that. But he was growing in. He grew up with Christianity, so I thought that was just really interesting story. But the amount of detail is, it is really weird.
I mean, what do you? Does anybody? I've never had anything crazy like that happen before, but honestly, I've heard of people having situations where they run into somebody and have something just somebody random, and have this really odd like feeling, like, I don't know, like they know the person, or like the person is, there's something different about them. You ever hear people say, if you're in like a crowded place? I've heard this by people like actually in ufology, say if you're in a crowded place and you consciously say you want to meet the phenomena, for example, it will, like, somebody will wave at you, and that's
like in airports and stuff.
Yeah. What the freak? Like, it's weird. That's weird to hear. That's really weird to hear.
Yeah. Besides that experience, he also said, okay, so there's Istanbul is in the mainland part of Turkey, and then there's this place in the Sea of Marmara that's called the Prince's Islands. And I kind of grew up there myself, and I know, like, I love the islands over there. And our summers would be like 3 months straight on the islands. So one of his other stories is they have these huge ferries that travel from Istanbul to the islands. And he said this was probably like late 70s, early 80s time era. He said one time, as this not giant, but this huge ship, this ferry that's coming from Istanbul to, it's called Kanal Island. It's also known as Henna Island. As the ship is traveling, the whole boat, the right side, the boat, everybody is looking over to the islands as this thing is like coming closer to the port, and they see lights hovering like all over the island. And he said it was such a crazy moment because people on the left side of the boat started moving over to the right side of the boat, and the boat started like leaning a little bit. That's how much the crowd was, that people are like, what the hell is this thing? So they saw things like that over the island, which was, it's crazy. But and the importance of this is, to me, is its vicinity to how close that UFO sighting was in Kumburgaz, which is very close. It's still like, yeah, it's in the vicinity. So I thought it was interesting, and then hearing, you know, that there's certain places on Earth where like certain phenomena occur more than other places.
Yeah.
Kind of got me to think about
And
that.
and at certain times as well, which is really odd. Like there's like a Jacques Vallée kind of suggests that there's like there's like, I don't know how to describe it because I don't remember the exact quotations, but the phenomena essentially seems to be doing it in increments, like it's certain specific times for certain purposes. They have a reason for doing it. It's not random. People think, oh, they're just randomly going to this place or that place, but there seems to be, according to the big data on it, that they're doing something. They have like an actual agenda here on this planet, and they're doing it at certain locations, or whatever their agenda is related to certain places. The reason why the military is concerned is because imagine if a bee nest, right? And I got a story to tell you now that you mentioned that. I just thought about this. Imagine there's a bee's nest, and that bee's nest started to expand. And not only did one bee nest come up out of nowhere, but like 15 of them showed up at very interesting locations around your house. For example, let's say that you had, I don't know, bowls of honey in each of those locations. You're like, wait a minute, how the freak do these bees know where I keep that bowl of honey? And come to find out that one of them just happened to slip through the cracks of each place, and they found the honey, and they're just like making more honey around, just something ridiculous like that. You wouldn't say it's all random, you know, like, oh, they just like this, they just so happen to like these places. You would say that they know something. Well, allegedly, that's kind of what's going on with the phenomena, that it's strategically placed at certain places. For example, there's another incident that happened, I don't remember, early 2000s, I think. I don't remember when it was right now, but where they were hovering over like nuclear facilities, and there were these dark figures that were there as well by nuclear facilities, weapons facilities around the U.S., like 8 of them. And the government was really concerned because, like, what the freak are they doing here?
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. They were just hovering there. And nobody, again, they don't tell the public about this, but like they're obviously doing something. Or in the ocean, there's that hamburger-shaped craft that was captured by this, intelligence program that's releasing Tic Tacs and it's literally creating craft, and it deleted people from existence. It deleted pilots who tried to observe over top of it at a specific location in our ocean, and we're aware of it, but we can't go near it because it will destroy anything that goes near it. And we can't fight it because it's not doing anything unless we do something around this area. But essentially, it's protecting its presence, and it's hiding its activities. Whatever it's doing, we don't know. That's a concern for them, I guess. And my grandfather seen something just like what you just described before he died. When he was in the Navy, he said he was on the USS Battleship. I got a picture of it on Facebook. He was on the USS Battleship, and he said one night he was all out, and all of a sudden all the crewmen went to the one side of the ship, and they all ran to that one side, and there was this big circle, glowing circle under the ocean following them. It was a big circle, and it was going at the same speed as the ship as they were. It wasn't moving at all, no deviation. It wasn't like going faster or slower, like, you know what I mean, like how something catches up to something. It was like locked in the same speed as this ship. And then all of a sudden, it went underneath the boat to the other side of the ship, and they all ran to the other side of the ship, and it sat there and followed them for a while, and then shut off into space, like just shut off into the sky, out of the water.
Wow. That's
I asked
wow.
him one day. I asked him about I said, "You ever see something before, Grandpa?" And he said, "Yeah, I saw something before. I never thought he would tell me. Never." And he never talked about it again after. I think he probably was drunk, and he just told me, and he never talked about it again. He won't tell me any. Before he passed away, I tried to get him to tell me the story again. He don't want to talk about it. I think he had loose lips. There's
a huge stigma, 100% talking about these things, especially back then. I think people, in general, were made to look crazy if you talked about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's wild.
That's wild because I mean, that's really interesting because they were saying in the book or the audiobook that I was reading, Jacobs was saying that like people that experience things within their family have other family members experience things too. So that's really interesting that you say that.
My aunt saw something. To my great aunt, she saw something before. She said the whole states, the whole city. I think it was in Washington or something like that. That's where she's from. She said the whole city had seen a bunch of UFOs in the sky, big too. They were big, and like they just sat there, flew across the sky, flew across the state, but nothing ever happened. Like nothing happened. They just flew across the state and then disappeared, and nothing. There was nothing to it.
Said that unfortunately he passed away a couple years ago. But he also claimed that he was abducted, and he only talked about it once. He only mentioned it to my aunt once. And the person that I just went to see in New Jersey, my aunt, Dylan's grandmother, as a matter of fact, she told me that when they used to live in Whippany, I think like early 80s, she saw something in front of her neighbor's house, which was like 200-300 yards away. She goes, and she never ever, I've never known her to talk like this. And the only reason that she talked about it is because I said, you know, there's things going on in Congress where people are like publicly talking about this. I go, what do you think about this, you know? And she goes, and then she opened up and she said this happened, you know, like when we were younger, in the old house in Whippany. She goes, I saw it was such a bright light. She goes, this was after a couple of our friends were leaving our house, and I was by the window. She looked outside. She saw this crazy blinding light over their neighbor's house. And she called her husband, my uncle, in, and she goes, take a look, you got to take a look at this. And it was this huge bright thing that zipped off. And she goes, I know for a fact that there's no airplanes that can do that. And this is what she told me. And then she mentioned that, she goes, a couple of weeks later, I told my friends, my best friends, they came over and I told them about it, and they laughed at me. And she goes, I never told anyone else after that.
I feel like
the stigma is,
how many people have seen something and never talked about it? You know,
Millions.
I think the same. I think it's been millions as well. I think it's been millions. You know, remember that documentary you saw, the really disturbing one I had to give a trigger warning for, where they were like bringing people on the craft, and the one dude said they made him go through all these different simulations, and one of them they chopped an infant up like just to see how he'd react, and like why would they do that? Like, what is the but then they said they walk around, they wonder how many other people have had the same experiences or similar and won't talk about it. They just, what are you going to tell people? Because they feel crazy for talking about it.
Right. Yeah.
And why is "we're not going to hurt you" so common? We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt you. The one they told me when I saw them, they said, "Don't worry, we won't hurt you." And it's just such a weird thing to say. I don't remember what happened to me afterwards, but that one lady said, they said in that documentary, they said, "Don't worry, we're not going to hurt you." But she said it was like they were screaming, all these voices, "We're not going to hurt you." And that's creepy, man. That's not, that's, why would... That
doesn't put my mind at ease.
No. What the...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Just give me one moment. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. I got to take daddy duty real quick.
Bryson, talk to me.
What do you want to hear, Gary?
Well, my life's in pieces. My world's over because my phone's not working. And
we can fix that.
I've realised today how dependent we're on how dependent we are on technology. I can't watch none of my weaponized podcasts on YouTube or nothing. So,
yeah, I hear you. When it comes to technology, we are dependent. It's become another organ of the body, so to say.
Yeah. And Marquise and the Armenian were talking earlier about, we was talking about EMPs, like if anyone wanted to attack this planet, all they'd have to do is shut all our electricity off, etc. I don't think they would necessarily have to do that. I think they would just have to stop any form of communications or anything associated with it, like Wi-Fi, radio waves, TV waves. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. It would be very easy to, because you're, thousands of miles away from me in a
Mm,
different country completely. It's not as easy as me just, hopping on my boat and, taking a Quinn over to Gary's house
yeah.
in London. And the only way we're able to communicate is with these waves over the internet. That,
Exactly.
that's the only way we're able to talk and have this conversation together.
But isn't it
So,
fantastic we can do so though?
and it's only been within the last, our lifetimes that this has happened. You
Well,
grew
the
up
past 10
where the only
years,
way you could go to the movies.
this has been able to happen, isn't it? We wouldn't have been
Well,
able
with
to do it
smartphones,
like this.
yes.
Yeah, but so I think, like the Armenian was saying, oh, there'd be civil war, people to reach for their guns because refrigerators wouldn't work, anything like that. No, I think all they got to do is shut down all forms of telecommunications, really.
It's as simple as an electromagnetic pulse blast.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if the power goes out and the water stops pumping, millions will pass immediately. Millions. The diabetics won't be able to
Yeah,
refrigerate their insulin.
yeah,
Um, it would be devastation. And I pray that day does not come where we have, I mean, I've heard things like, the 10 days of darkness,
mm,
not to get any, political or religious about it, but it would be very simple. If they're here and they want to do that, it's, a snap of the fingers.
yeah, absolutely. But I don't think it'd be a case of no electricity at all. Just what I've realised just today, just being a day, spending the day without my phone, not being able to play my music on all my Bluetooth speakers, not being able to chat to you guys every 3 seconds on Discord or whatever, it's just like I can't do nothing. I can't even turn my phone on. It's just a black screen. And so yeah, I think that's all you'd have to do. All radio waves, Wi-Fi, everything like that.
And we are highly codependent on these technologies,
Oh yeah,
and they are
absolutely.
primitive technologies. If we're to believe what we've been shown of how they're able to traverse the stars.
Yeah, definitely. So what have you been doing today? Classes?
No, classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All
I've been
right.
doing chores around the house, listening on my headphones. When I
Yeah.
finally made time to hop on, talk to y'all. I wanted to hear the Armenian story before anything.
Oh yeah, man, that was wild. I just got the full story of this. Like, my dad's visiting over here, so I've been doing like stuff over
Mm,
here, and I wanted to pick his brain because I mentioned my mom mentioned that to me a long time ago, and I like from her point of view when she was alive, and I never got the full story, and I wanted to pick my dad's brain about what had
mm,
happened, and when I heard the whole story from him, it kind of like I don't know, it kind of blew my mind because the other version that I heard was her version was she saw somebody came to help wearing all white. She doesn't know what happened, but she thought it was like very, very strange the way everything happened, and yeah, she didn't have as much detail. But when I heard it from my dad, that just kind of like whoa,
yeah.
that's wild. So yeah, definite kind of weird paranormal stuff. I have my own story with other things, but that's for another time. Mine is much more related to Native Americans and mushrooms and just something really, really intense and weird that happened. I'd love to share that one because that kind of formed my view of how I see things now, reality and spirituality and everything. But we'll get to that some other time. That's all. That's like a long one. Have you guys had any
Well,
experiences?
best I've got is the Brown Mountain Lights.
Oh, what is that?
Just the Brown Mountain Lights, it's here in North Carolina. They're these weird lights that form in the sky. They overlook the Brown Mountain in North Carolina. It's hard to describe other than saying they're clearly not something natural. But if you look it up on the internet, it's a common occurrence. It's definitely not swamp gas or, the Venus star, whatever simple answer you have. But
Yo,
other than that,
did you guys
for
see
me,
that
I mean,
McWest getting called out, by the way?
Yes.
I sent that to you. Okay, so
Yeah.
you said that.
Gary sent it earlier, I think.
So what
Maybe it was-
did you see? Like, were they like? Because I'm looking right now and it says like ghost lights. Are they like UFO lights, ghost lights? What did you experience?
They look like fireflies almost in the sky, but they're clearly, way, way bigger.
Right.
It was just more like, we went out there and people kind of sit out in their cars and they watch them come up, and it's a phenomenon that is not easily explainable. And I would say, I don't know what it is. Electromagnetic
What is it called?
pulses. The Brown Mountain Lights. They're in North Carolina.
And when did this occur? Like, was this recently or like?
Oh, I was a kid. Maybe like 8 or 9. My parents took me out.
And a lot of other people saw this. You were saying, right? Was it like a camping spot or what?
It's like an overlook
Okay.
in the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Oh my gosh, I got pictures of it.
And
It's creepy.
it's do the same thing. Just see, it is creepy, but at the same time, it's not. It's more common than say a random UFO occurrence.
Yeah.
I've heard of several mountains like that. What's that?
I don't know. I mean, I can't give you.
Is it my internet or is Bryson just?
I think Bryson's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're. The internet is like slowing down. Bryson's internet. I see him frozen on there right now.
Is he frozen? Dang.
What's that other mountain we were talking about the other day? Is it Mount Shasta?
Oh yes, Mount Shasta that's in California, I believe that he was talking about. But that's really interesting. Like, look at this. We already have people. 2 other people, like people are like participating that we've never heard these stories before. That's great. I love hearing stories like this.
Yeah, man.
Because it seems like it's a more common occurrence than people realize.
There's a story about a mountain down in Peru as well that has lights around it, and because I know the guys from this country from that UFO podcast and that they went. It was that, but that. Bizarre. They actually got a crowdfunding, got a flight down there, and never actually seen pictures of it or anything. So, Bryson, how large would you say these lights are? You say they were like fireflies, but were they moving like fireflies?
I don't think Bryson's with us anymore.
Yeah, I think he's.
Well, I can see his little thumb now, but
Hey.
Oh, there he is.
there he is. He's back.
I don't know. My internet is trash today. It's
Dang. He's turned into a freaking robot. I knew it. He's not even real.
They're trying to suppress his information out there.
It's the Illuminati trying to control his mind, soul, and body. One of my favorite topics is the Illuminati. I feel like it's really a very interesting topic. it's really dark, but like it's really interesting. I mean, there's a lot of really weird information about the Illuminati. A weird, like, really strange things to suggest that there's like satanic worshiping politicians and musicians who are trying to, like, I don't know, like influence culture and civilization for some reason, and they use very satanic. Now, there's an argument to be made, like, what is that? I have this picture. Let me actually read this to you guys, just real quick, to kind of add to context to this, some of this conversation. But I sent it to Peanut this morning. I just found it. Somebody posted, Lucifer represents the individual intellect and will, which rebels against the domination of nature and attempts to maintain itself contrary to natural impulse. Lucifer, in the form of Venus, is the morning star spoken in Revelations, which is to be given to those who overcome the world. From the All-Seeing Eye, this is where it's from the All-Seeing Eye book by Manly P. Hall. Lucifer means shining one, morning star. The word Lucifer is taken from the Latin Vulgate, which translates as Lucifer, meaning the morning star, the planet Venus, or as an adjective, light bringer. I told you guys this, but not as well. But yeah, like, dude, like this is an interesting. There's a belief that the Illuminati is in cahoots with Lucifer. They've sold their souls, but for riches and wealth in this world. And they're trying to literally influence as many young souls as they can to try to do the same thing for them, but in a different way. There's Travis Scott. He did a concert, one of the craziest, weirdest concerts. People died in that concert. They were trampled in that concert, and he joked about it on Instagram like days afterwards, with pictures of somebody's lifeless body in the background of his joke on Instagram. And he said in the concert, it said, "See you on the other side," and there was a literal portal into hell. To get into the concert, you had to walk through this like Medusa-like figure, which is a literal. It was influenced by the satanic or the occult guy who wrote a book about the like different levels of hell. And so he literally, like, the whole theme of his concert, that Travis Scott concert, was that of demonology or Satanism or whatever. The imagery of that satanic worship type thing, and the idea of dragging his people to hell. That was like he literally was like welcoming the souls of kids to hell. I mean, have you guys seen some of that stuff?
I mean, it's in pop culture all the time. I mean, we see people put up Illuminati signs in music videos and things like that. Like, it's very common.
It's weird.
I don't know how much of it is for theatrics and to get people talking, and how much it is actual, part of. Yeah. So.
I don't know. I mean, it could all be. There's a lot of guys who say, oh, they just do it for, like, it means something else, or it seemed like they named the one guy Lil Uzi Vert is Little Lucifer, but it's just a play on words. But he says, like, oh, it's nothing, like, it's not what you think. It's like, what? You named yourself Little Lucifer. Like, you did it like I don't know what you call it when you use a word with a double meaning kind of thing, but like he literally did that. That wasn't an accident. That was by intention. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably one of the most interesting things, because if there is an influencing factor of our civilization through media and entertainment, which I think it is, what the heck is this about? Like, what's this element of Illuminati or whatever about? How real is it? How far does it go? How deep? Like, are there politicians that are involved with this actively? Is it just entertainment? Like, what is going on?
I mean, with the whole Alex Jones at the Bohemian Grove, he literally said there's politicians from both sides of the aisle that attended these things, and very, very powerful people in both business and in government. And
he didn't just say it, he showed us this.
Yeah, he showed the video.
So it's weird.
It definitely happens. I mean, whether it's entertainment, I don't know whether the politicians that end up over there see it as a form of entertainment, or if it's they're actually being involved in some type of ritual or ceremonial magic, and they're part of that.
You ever see Hostel?
I'm not sure. I might have.
I
If you
think,
maybe
yeah, let me try to paraphrase it or summarize a little bit of it if I can remember. It's been so long. But it's where these girls, these American girls, go to like another country and they go to a hostel, which is where you just kind of live with a bunch of random people. And it's where most porn movies are made. And sorry, I should have said that. Anyway, so
so I've probably seen it.
I think we all have. We probably all have.
Okay.
Anyway, so this hostel, they end up getting kidnapped and by these rich people who essentially use them for sport. And it's been alleged by a lot of people. This is no secret. This is not a conspiracy. That there are rich people all around the world who literally for sport, they through the trafficking ring will either eat people like cannibalism, or they will use them
Organ
for sport,
harvesting.
or organ harvesting, or for sport or anything like selling there. Literally, this is the kind of stuff that's being this is like the FBI talks about dealing with this issue, so it's not like a conspiracy, although it is, but it's not just a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy based off of real data, real things. It's really weird because I feel like those are the kind of things that people should be talking about, but like for some reason we don't hear a lot about it. We don't hear a lot of. We have to go through Alex Jones and they're making the friggin' frogs. We gotta do that to hear any of this stuff. Or like the FBI found a trafficking ring where they were. This is weird. I don't remember what year it was, but they allegedly found this, and I seen the newspaper article about this. This is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be a terrible recollection of this event, where kids were being peddled in the mountains of California, and they were doing satanic rituals where they did things that are unspeakable things, and this is allegedly being done by politicians and like people with power, like very powerful people. What the freak, man? Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of weird stuff going on, a lot of weird stuff going on. Like, even absent of the UFO phenomena, like, what is this stuff? What is going on here? What's going on here?
There is definitely some weird stuff going on. I mean, I believe that. I think people do, peddle in souls and unfortunately unaware people through trafficking because they believe that they can use that as a currency for knowledge, for power, and things like that. That's.
Well, I mean, could you ever wonder about the Catholic? I mean, this is gonna be really edgy, but why is the Catholic Church so, like, dominantly, involved in those kinds of activities?
There's a lot of weird stuff when it comes to the Catholic Church. When like even the upside down cross,
they say
Peter.
Yeah, but that's
Right,
literally what
and-
the devil uses, according to them, to mock God, to mock Jesus.
Yeah.
I think. So I don't get why
And-
you would use that. Like,
Right, and I mean, Catholicism is the biggest religion aspect of Christianity that's on the planet, right? I mean, there's nothing bigger than Catholicism when it comes to that religious aspect of Christianity. I don't think there's any bigger sect of Christianity bigger than
I don't think there's
Catholicism
anything
as far as
powerful.
numbers.
I don't think there's anything as powerful. They have like a whole
Right.
nation. I think they're like a.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
come on.
Vatican is its own country, I believe, right? Or is its own thing.
I
It's
think they're their
separately
own,
from.
Yeah, I think they're their own like nation or something like that.
Right.
I don't know specifically, but they are like their own nation, from what I understand. Like, that's weird.
They
That's
hold
why
a
is
lot of
that
power.
is super weird, man. They worship the Pope like he's Jesus, literally, like he's Jesus, or like he's
Right.
God or whatever. That's weird to me. I don't know, man. That's not. Where does it say that in the Bible? Like, what Bible are you reading, man? Like, that's.
I mean,
don't know.
there's a lot of things that a lot of churches do that don't make sense to me. Not just for like speaking for Catholicism, but like even the church that I go to, because my wife is deeply like devout and religious. So we go to a church over here. It's an Armenian church. And like most churches that I know, they hold their services on Sunday. And I've always wondered, like, I go, well, does holding, in the Bible, Saturday, is the day of Sabbath is supposed to be the sacred day that God wants people to, worship and think about him on. And that's a deviation from what the Bible teaches, that most churches actually hold their services on Sunday. So there's a lot of deviation from, a lot of churches do this. A lot of churches deviate from what is supposed to be within the religion, sacred days and sacred things. So that's just one thing. I mean, the whole idea, to me, that people look at the cross as the defining symbolism of Christianity just baffles me, because
but the Bible said not to do that. Literally, it says not to use.
It says engraved images, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. And on top of every church, there's an engraved images, and there's statues, engraved statues.
I don't get it.
Saints and Jesus and Mary, and I would say most churches do that. Every church that I've been into has something like that. So it's not just the Catholic Church that deviates, but I'm sure the Catholic Church takes it to a different extreme that I haven't seen in other churches.
Yeah. I don't get it, man. I always, well, I mean, all of these things are perversions, right? They're perversions of the original. Like
Right.
Buddhism, for example, they say, Buddhism says the same thing. Buddha said the same thing, not to idolize like anything or anyone. And yet they are like, I mean, you could build your whole house off of a Buddhist. It's pretty cool, to be honest. It's really cool. Have a little Buddha, a couple of water fountains, like a little incense here with some Buddha images and cool picture. Like you ever go into a Chinese restaurant? Listen, I'm not trying to be racist here, but like, like that's kind of a perversion of what the people that led these philosophies and religions said to do. Like they said, don't do this, and then everybody
don't do this, and everybody does it, right?
What the freak?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures of the Pope wearing, his ceremonial headgear, which is supposed to be reminiscent of the cult of Dagon that worshipped like these fish beings, which is he wears a fish-headed hat. So you could look that up too. It's really interesting.
That's weird. Yeah, I've heard. I think you sent me a bunch of stuff about the Catholic Church. I didn't look into all of it yet because there's a documentary that I want to watch about the Catholic Church in that kind of that aspect of it. Because I'm curious. I just want to understand why. I always want to understand why. But like, does anybody else like? Do the people that are first of all? Did you see the recent? Hold on. Let me. I know there's only 30 minutes left. I got to do this because I totally forgot. Hold on one second.
Also, I just want to put out a disclaimer to anybody that may be Catholic that's watching. I am not against Catholicism. This is just like a topic of interest
we're just
for me,
talking
and
about,
like
yeah.
I don't discriminate against anybody based on your religion or whatever. Like,
well, I mean, we just mentioned Christianity too. So like,
right. So
like
I mean, we mentioned Islam earlier about certain age things when it comes. Yeah. So like this is just for discussion sakes. It's not to promote hate about.
No way, dude. No way. I mean, again, pointing out something like the Catholic Church uses a symbolism that's literally linked to specific things, or Christian churches do things like idolize images and symbols that they're not supposed to because it's biblically unsound. That is not anti-Christian. It's weird to think that, but I know people can do that. People can take what you say and twist it easily. But I want to say, Tom DeLonge has been on a massive tweet storm lately, and it's really weird. It's really weird. Let me talk about some of the things that he says. So one of the things, since we're talking about religions, he says is a quote, a tweet by John Keel, and it says, "We are a cargo cult." It's something that I think Peter Levenda maybe it was Peter Levenda. I first heard from him. I don't know where it originates from, but I first heard it from him. Not only our religions, but our sciences. What are we doing with our science? Are we trying to duplicate what the gods did? Eternal life, explore the heavens, mimicking what we saw in hopes they'll come back? And then Tom DeLonge tweeted this with some images of like indigenous populations building planes and satellites to emulate something, right? They're emulating something. And Tom DeLonge says, and what if religions were a planned cargo cult and social engineering program to divide us, to misdirect the truth and origin of consciousness itself, and its ultimate horizon and power.
I believe that.
You believe Tom DeLonge?
I've always about religion. I've always kind of understood that he's not the first person to mention that. And again, like the Armenian just said, this is my view. It's nothing to do with Marquis's channel or anything like that. And this is only what I've heard people say, but I do understand it. I've even heard people say in the past that religions could be no more than a Greek play. That's I've heard crazy stuff like that, and so for Tom DeLonge to come out with something like that, I think, yeah, that sounds similar to what I've heard before.
Oh man, give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I got something. Oops.
What, is chat blown up or something?
So I've had similar views as well, Garioki, that religion, I think at its base is a form of control. That is not to say, like, I personally, regardless of all of the experiences that I've gone through, my distaste and dislike of religion, that is not in any way to say that the God that you commune with, the one that you pray to, is your own. That's sacred to me. That's sacred. Like as a person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that has, like, the religion is just like an outer weird shell of trying to use that for power, for control. And my belief in Jesus. I believe in Jesus, regardless of everything that I talk about in here. Like, I talk about Luciferianism and things like that, but I believe in Jesus, and that's just me. But like my dislike of religion has nothing to do with my personal relationship with God, is what I'm trying to get at. So I just want to make that clear. But I do a lot of reading just for the sake of knowledge, and I love to hear everybody's point of view.
I know the one thing I've never really got into, I've never looked at research, etc., is I know there are like UFO based religions out there. Some call them cults even.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know a little bit more about them.
You've heard of Heaven's Gate? I'm pretty sure if you're talking about UFO.
I've heard the name, yeah, but what is it exactly?
That was so Heaven's Gate was, I'll read it right off the thing over here. It was an American religious movement whose members committed mass S-word in 1997. So it was basically, from what I remember, they thought that there was going to be a UFO or like some kind of object that was in close proximity to Earth, and the best way that they could reach it was through annihilation of their physical bodies, basically.
It's where the term "don't drink the Kool-Aid" came from. Because they literally had the women, children, everyone drink Kool-Aid that was poisoned.
Right.
Stephen Greer style. I mean, like they believed in anything, whatever the person said is true.
Yeah, it was very cult.
I've been flicking through like Netflix before, and there's films about there's a film about two guys that used to be part of a UFO cult, and they left it, and then they had to go back and see them because they had the message. And I thought, UFO religion, UFO cult, that sounds interesting. I've never heard of anything like it before, so.
And I'm sure the one that I just gave that example of is probably like one of the worst ones. I'm sure there's ones that are, nowhere near as batshit crazy and like they don't
When
want,
was that?
you know, I'm sure there's a lot out there.
97. Was that 97?
97, correct? Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Because I remember 1997, we had that comet close to Earth.
I think that was it.
Yeah, because I can remember standing out in the street looking up in the sky, and it just looked like a really faint white smudge. And anyone else, you look at it and you think, oh, that's like part of the Milky Way or a cloud or anything like that. And it's only when people said, no, that's the comet, it was like, wow, look at that, you know. And it's only now I think to myself, Jesus, how close to Earth was that? And now you told me that about Heaven's Gate. No wonder they. Is that a ghost or is that Bryson? Look, he's become one
Oh
with the
my
force.
gosh, Sleepy Bryson.
I had to
Come
plug
back
up to
as a
my
ghost.
computer. I had to plug
looks
up
like
directly to the
Obi-Wan.
router.
Yeah, you had to what, mate?
I had to plug up to the router directly instead of using Wi-Fi. I don't know why.
No,
Fair
well,
enough.
The
We don't
Wi-Fi
even
was
know
gonna-
if he's real, ladies and gentlemen. No, folks, he might not even be real. I think it's AI.
it's a Jedi ghost.
And
Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope.
Yeah,
you're wrong about the Kool-Aid reference, by the way.
Correct me. Correct.
That
fact check.
came from the Jamestown Code.
Jamestown,
That
that's
ha-
right, right, right.
Oh my
happened
gosh,
in-
you're so.
in Guy-
you're right. I'm
in
sorry.
Guyana.
I'm sorry. Oh my
where,
gosh.
Unfortunately, they served arsenic-laced.
Yes. Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Jim Jones.
But not Kool-Aid actually, but the store brand version.
Well, I mean, it's you are. I think you're correct about that. What I should. So I didn't even think. Honestly, that didn't even cross.
I only
my
came back
mind.
to. I only
Yeah.
came back to say you're wrong.
That's.
So
I
that's all.
appreciate that. I love it when people do that. Fact check, real time,
Just stop by.
real time. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? No, there's a lot of like, you know, this is what concerns me about ufology. There's a Rael movement. I talked to the guy who's like one of the leaders of the Rael movement. I actually had him on SOR before. Had him on my podcast. If you go to my podcast on Spotify, you can see our conversation. But also, I had him on Spaced Out Radio, and people were really upset about it because it's like, did you know he's a cult leader? I'm like, yes, I know he's a cult leader. You guys literally listen to a woman tell you that she has alien reptilian babies. Shut up. Like, let's just hear the guy out. I just want to know what he has to say. This is about investigating these things, these people, what they have to say, their ideologies, their beliefs. This is what it's about. And then seeing how close to them you are, because that's literally what my concern is about ufology, is that people are literally like cult-like about this phenomena. And again, just like Tom DeLonge said, I think it's by design.
Changing the subject. Now, Marquise, have you got a pen and paper?
Don't need it. What do we got? What's going on? Talk
Well,
to me.
I can't get onto Discord and put things in content for you, etc. So one thing I'd like to talk about, maybe not tonight or tomorrow, but whenever, and I'd like to ask you guys if you've heard about it. Bryson, you may have, but COG.
Huh? What is that?
Mean anything to you? Well,
is it?
I know. As far as your legal system and politics go, you're not allowed to mention it in any formal setting. But the COG, the C stands for continuity. Do you know what I mean, Bryson? You're a dark journalist fan, no?
I don't know anything about this.
I don't know anything about COG either.
Yeah.
What is
Right,
that?
it's called continuity of government.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of it before?
I don't think so. Maybe if I did, it's such a vague. I don't know.
Well-
I'm not. It's not ringing a bell at all.
What it is, it's a system that's in place by your government. I'm sure my government and other countries have it as well. But it's a system to ensure literally to ensure the continuity of government during nuclear war, anything like that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there's a Wikipedia page.
Yeah, they like have like these bases deep in
right.
the mountains
I
to
mean, I'm
make
aware.
sure.
I'm aware of that. I didn't know that's what it was called, but
Yeah, well, it's. Do you know where NORAD is?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a big mountain range, whatever. And apparently, they've got like hundreds and massive bunkers under there. and continuity of government was called put in operation during 9/11, because obviously when 9/11 happened.
Well, that goes to show they don't know what the freak they're doing. They have no idea what's going on, because look at how small of an effect 9/11 had, aside from starting an entire war for 20 years. But I mean, like, in terms of like effect on America, it didn't do anything. I mean, I hate to say it.
Marquise, what I'm saying, at the time when it happened, you didn't know whether that was the start of World War III, or whether the next one was going to be in London or Spain, or around the world. We didn't know if, like.
I mean, if we're that wrong after seeing the last 20, the 20 years afterwards of what happened, if that was their take then, they're complete idiots because they were so wrong. It's not even funny. It just goes to show they don't know they have no idea what they're talking about.
Just say, for example, the president of the United States, Bush, at the time, wasn't it? Just imagine a massive functioning happening at the Twin Towers, 9/11, and all of Bush's.
You thought the world would descend into chaos. It would be mass. Yeah, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. So the idea is, if the president and what do you call it, a cabinet or like his team, if they all get killed, then there's somebody else to stand in, and then so on and so on, just to keep.
Until I become the next president, because nobody's left but me.
Just to keep that continuity of government going throughout whatever else is happening. And like I say, I'm sure we have it over here in the UK as well, and everything like that. But one of the major parts of it is whoever the commander of NORAD is at the time, when mainland America is getting pulverized under attack, nuclear war, whatever, the commander of NORAD takes over and becomes the commander-in-chief, basically.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Never heard that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of.
I mean, I don't know the hierarchy of who would be
it's so
the next in line.
It's so secretive. It's so undercover. Places like Area 51 are involved as well. That's, people say that's classed as a COG site, and stuff like that. And it's literally, we're talking going beyond martial law. It's like whatever happens to America, you have to protect the president and his Senate, cabinet, whatever it's called. I'm not sure.
That's right.
There's massive things about it at the moment. Do you remember 6 months ago when the Chinese balloons floated over Canada and
they weren't
North
Chinese
America?
balloons. Only one of them was.
Apparently, it was on the verge of being called then, and something happened. Whether it was a psyop or not, or whether it was true, but something happened, and they've now replaced the actual NORAD commander, who would be. It's just.
Man,
massive.
you're making a lot of claims, bro. You gotta back this up with some stuff. Just for the sake of my channel not be. I'm cool with you talking about it, but like, you're alleging so many things, none of which anybody's ever heard. Doesn't mean it's not true. It just means you gotta verify that stuff. You gotta back it up with some kind of a data or something like that, man.
Like I've heard of the continuity of government, for example, but the depths to as what he's going as far as the commander of NORAD.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Discord. As soon as you get your phone back, I would love to see some documentation on that.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Because we are not y'all know we talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm open to it, but like when you're on live and you're like, and I'm gonna be facetious here. You're like, listen, did you know President Joe Biden is actually a woman who dated Michelle Obama and had a baby, and that baby was Barack Obama until Barack Obama's actually dating his mom? Like, that's the kind of like what
it's possible.
Where is this coming from?
It's possible.
You can't do that.
Not plausible.
You
know what I'm saying?
You need stuff to back it up with, don't you?
Some stuff.
I was just gonna say, if you can, like, maybe, I doubt you'll be able to research it, but
I can research it. So this is the okay. I'll just for the sake of now, I am gonna take notes of this because what does it go again?
Write it down.
I'm doing it right now.
COG, continuity of government.
It's got a Wikipedia page.
I doubt you'll find anything, because apparently if you mention it in I don't know, Congress or something like that, you get shut down immediately and you're not meant to discuss it.
Well, the last
Because
time
it's
we had to
kinda
use
scary.
it was with, JFK and what happened in, 1963. The last time, we had a president pass away in
Yeah.
office.
I don't see.
JFK mentioned some crazy. I mean, like some of his speeches, if you listen to them, there's a lot of info in there that
He's been
it's
trying to tell us
actually.
something. He's trying to tell us something.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to tell us something.
Well, don't
And
tell your lover. Don't tell,
oh,
Marilyn Monroe the secrets.
But you see, the biggest
Wow.
rumour there is that he was assassinated because he was going to spill the beans about this, bring out disclosure and
Well,
everything.
just before, was it 2 weeks before that? He forced the CIA to release some of the documents and information about UFOs and some other things as well about clandestine groups, and then next thing you know, he's
he was literally talking about the infiltration of clandestine groups
Yeah.
infiltrating our government. He was
Yeah.
literally talking about that.
Yeah, I heard he was the last president that got the full briefing on everything, and that ever since then, the intelligence community decided that we're not going to tell the president. It's a need-to-know only basis now.
because look what happens. They're going to
Yeah.
want to do something about it.
Because
do
the other
something
the other big story, the other big story as well, was related to the space race. He wanted to go to the moon with Russia. He wanted to basically say, right, let's join forces with Russia and
Oh.
both go there. And the higher echelons of whatever, the United States government said, no, this guy's gone too far now. Because in them days, it was all like commie this, commie that, and we was all right in the middle of the Cold War, wasn't we? We all hated communists.
I mean, we say that. This blows my mind. I don't believe in communism, socialism, or anything like that. But like to paint it as any worse than capitalism is, it's unintelligent. It's unintelligent in my opinion, because what you're doing is you're simplifying You're simplifying these systems as if because they've been used by bad people, but because they've been misused by bad people, the system itself is bad. But like the systems were meant to be good, but they were being used by bad people, and they're not perfect, which is why I don't think that any of these systems will work. None of them. I mean, you guys know my position.
Well, it's like when the engineer designs something, they design it to where on paper everything's great, but then they implement it, and the mechanic's like, "Why would you put the oil filter back behind the engine?"
It's more like they're like, look, man, I'm gonna give you this tool, and you use it to like pick flowers. And they're like, wow, really? Okay. And they go and they dig up all the flowers and then destroy the whole land. It's like, that's not what I gave it to you for. And you're like, but see, this is what you knew I would do it anyway. And so therefore you gave me, this is what it's supposed to do. That's what this is like. That's exactly what it's like, because socialism is a far better system than capitalism for civilization. It is better. Why
did you go straight towards
I'm just saying
something?
it's undeniably better. It's not enough. It will never be enough because it doesn't account for, as you guys say, human nature. These are things that we have to change. You couldn't implement socialism in a society that we have today because the society we have today is corrupted by capitalism. It just wouldn't work. That is true, but the reasons for why it won't work, that's a lie. That's being told to people because they don't want you to actually live better. They want you to stay stuck in this freaking capitalistic society where all you do is strive for the same thing over and over again.
You say that some things that are planned for us are communist or so whatever
I mean, we don't even live. We live in a
that way.
corporatocracy, guys. The corporations rule everything. You think this is better than if the people were actually given the resources that they put their efforts and money into? Are you kidding me? You think that it would be worse for people to benefit from the efforts of their labor? That would be worse. Man, people don't deserve it. Because
slavery
some people
just
are bad.
evolved. Slavery just evolved into economic slavery.
Yeah.
I mean, there still is
Exactly.
slavery around. There's still,
Exactly.
like, don't get me wrong. There's still definitely, people out there taking advantage of other people and keeping them,
But it's far
at
less
threat of violence.
Yeah, it's far less prevalent than people are. Like, more people want to do good than want to do bad. There are a few people in this world, if you think about the 8 billion of them, that want to do bad versus most people who just want to be happy. Like, most human beings just want to be happy. Most people aspire to want to contribute. They don't want to have to, they don't want to be forced to do something they don't want to do. They want to do something. Every child has a dream, every single one of them. Very few of them get to achieve that dream. And so when you think about the nature of humanity, humanity is meant to thrive. We want to do something. We want to take part. We want to cooperate. We want to collaborate. We want to have fun. We want to be happy. We want to make other people happy. We are taught that this is the way it is. And then as a consequence, we grow up just naturally aligning with these ridiculous, behaviors.
You're not wrong. I'll say that. Marquise is not wrong.
What?
I knew it. Take that cheap clapping. It's coming anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I always get. You guys know I'm super passionate about, especially when it comes to society and like systems. I get frustrated when people misunderstand or misinterpret systems and their true purposes, because to me, and I think this is a fault of my own, it is obvious to me that we could be better. We are not just meant to suck. We suck because the system designs things to be that way. A few people benefit from the whole system. The rest of us suffer to keep it to uphold it. And then we're all told, yeah, this is just how you are. This is your fault. While the rich are up there sitting, getting their toes licked by, gorgeous women or men, and being fed, as to your point earlier, Garyoki, caviar, like in real time. They're like, go and squeeze those fishes' babies, please. They go and dig in the little pond that they just created, and then some poor chef has to go bare hands and squeeze the eggs into the rich man's mouth while he's getting his toes licked by some. You know what I mean? Like, this is.
That's my dream
and then
come true.
And then and while he's saying, this is your fault, you should try harder, and you could be in my position. All the while, his whole family is being held hostage by, this is what the world is like. This is really what's happening. Okay?
You're not taking advantage of the American dream. That's the problem here.
Oh my gosh.
See you later.
Yeah. So we're close to the end, guys. I'm kind of just, at this point, I'm lollygagging. I don't want to, if I do another match, it'll last for like 20 minutes, and I don't want to do that. But
yeah,
this has been a pretty chill, man. I appreciate you guys. Listen, to be honest with you, I am anxious. I am so happy about, especially this week, because Friday, let me just make sure I'm correct. I think it's Friday. I'm going to be doing a special double stream on Friday, a very long one, because you know what Friday is. Friday is launch day. Friday is launch day, guys.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Friday is Starfield comes out on Friday, and so I'm gonna be having some sleepless nights coming up because I gotta learn the systems and learn the game itself. But I'm excited about it. I'm super freaking excited about Starfield.
Yeah, you've been talking about this nonstop.
That definitely was not Starfield footage earlier. That was a Skyrim mod. That was the video you shared the other day. I was just making a joke. It's totally not Starfield.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
It's just a Skyrim mod.
It's actually it's more of an Oblivion mod, actually, from what they say. The dude that's been playing the game for, as he says, like 150 hours or whatever. He said it's more like a Oblivion, and it's the best story he's ever seen, including the best ending. And the game doesn't even begin until after you beat the story, which is about 60 hours, between 40 to 60 hours. So we're talking. What's up?
Very quickly, tell us about that book what your stepson bought home today.
So I have never read. Ironically, it's one of the books I have not read. I have Alien Agendas by Richard Dolan. I love that book. But now I'm going to be reading that book, Alien Agenda. It's a different book, because honestly, I don't even know. I don't want to give any details about it until I read it. So we can do this. I can read this synopsis.
For you though, or is it something he's reading himself?
So he did that on his own. He goes with his dad. Does not like black people.
Right.
And so we joke about this all the time. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I'll say something like, hey, when you get to your dad's house, tell him Wakanda forever, and then he'll just like, well, what is that? and then they'll tell him, he'll be like, don't you ever do that in my, and he doesn't even know that like I'm just messing with him. I'm sorry, guys. It's just funny. So we mess with him every now and then because he's just a really bad. He's a racist. They even tell me all the time how he'll see some like I don't know, like a police killing, and he'll be like, that guy probably deserved it, and like they're like they don't question him because they don't want to make him mad, but it is funny. Give me, oh my gosh, there's always something. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to tell you a funny story, but give me 1 second.
So what if this guy popped up in the stream one night? What if he's like really into aliens and UFOs, like the rest of us, and it's Marquise's main competition in life?
I don't know if it's his competition, but
Well, you know, enemy, whatever.
we gotta tiptoe around the subject because it's it's still somebody's dad.
Yeah.
So
How about them aliens?
yeah,
Yeah.
right, Gary. Where's
Yeah.
my alien boy at, man?
The alien boy.
Do you guys
Alien
remember the
man.
story from like the 80s or early 90s, Bat Boy? Did you guys have that phenomena over there? Karaoke, Bat Boy?
Bat boy, no.
Nobody remembers Bat Boy. That's so
I
crazy.
remember that boy.
Dude.
Was it Global News or I
It
don't
was
I
like
forgot-
The Sun or like the Inquirer, one of those things.
yeah, which tabloid it was.
Yeah, it was like all over the tabloids.
What's
All
Bat boy then? What is it?
They found a bat-looking boy in a cave somewhere. I'm trying to
Really?
I think Hillary Clinton is his mom.
Weekly World News.
Dang,
Weekly World
bro.
News from Canada in
What the
1992.
freak? Yo.
I'm gonna put an image of this in our Discord just so Karaoke can take a look when he comes back with his phone.
Yeah. What is it? A photograph or a drawing?
It's a whole story around Bat Boy, and
Okay.
I'll show you. Oh my god, he's so strange looking. It's
Yeah,
in
I'll
Discord
look
right
at
now.
Are you back yet, Marquise?
I'm back. There's a lot of kid stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of like because of school. And, like anyway, that's not necessarily. So I wanted to tell you some funny stories, man. But I guess we'll save it for another day. Only got a couple
3 minutes.
Yeah,
3 minutes.
Yeah, man. They're my stepsons. Their dad is. He's fun to mess with. He really is fun to mess with. There's no danger there. It's just really fun to. I told him one time to ask him, for example, to ask him what he thought about Black Lives, to say Black Lives Matter, just at random, like where they're watching TV or something. To say Black Lives Matter to see what he says. And he said, no, white people's lives matter too. And he got really mad, they said, and he was cursing for a long time, talking about how black people just think everything's about them, and they think that they're better than white people, and that saying is racist because all it's saying is that black people matter more. It doesn't mean Black Lives Matter. It means Black Lives Matter more. And he just went, and they thought it was so funny. They did. Now let me tell you
You're
something.
just doing this to trigger him at this point.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I definitely did it to trigger. He's a big dude too. He's like 6'2", and I don't care. I don't care. I'll eat him alive. Anyway, the thing, he's a really big guy. But it's funny because he's just such a loser. Like, and I know. Listen. When I say this, I don't mean this to just be rude. He got his sons sick on purpose, because he didn't believe that there was anything going on at all. He thought it was just. Now listen to this. This gets really. There's nothing going on. It's all fake. It's all planned. Whatever. Okay, cool. Whatever. Got them sick. Whenever my unicorn was, whenever the baby was just born, she was a couple weeks old. Got them sick. Didn't tell us anything until we got them.
So that was the man you were talking about.
Yep, he got them sick, and then we got them. They both got COVID. One of them is vulnerable. Has a compromised immune system. He could have died because of this. He was in bed for a week. We thought he died a couple times. No joke. We thought he was dead because he would sleep all day and not talk, or he wouldn't even talk or nothing. And the only solution that they gave us was that he needs to be bedridden It was terrible. It was terrible. So long story short, his dad did that to them, and to us. We all got sick, including our 1 month, because she was 1 month. I think it was a couple weeks, 1 month at a time. Old baby at the time, and he almost died. He had to go to the hospital, to the emergency room, because he thought he was going to die. That's the kind of person that he is. And
did he realize? Did he accept that that's what he got after?
Nope.
After he got still
COVID.
didn't.
Yeah, he accepted he got it. He admitted because he had to go to the doctor and got diagnosed. And by the way, he didn't go to the doctor and get sick. He got sick and then went. So just to be clear about the sequence of events, people are like, they gave it to me. No, he got it from being irresponsible and not completely
like a COVID party.
Oh, it was terrible. And here's the thing. He literally was scared. He was scared. He expressed his fear and everything to them, and he was like, "I love you," like almost saying goodbye to them because he thought he was gonna die. That is who this man is. And there's a lot of other stories I can tell you. So like messing with him, I'm doing a service to humanity. Trust me. He's
very nice.
He's a jerk. Anyway, with that final.
Those are my final thoughts.
Those are my final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys, man. I don't care if karaoke doesn't love me. I love you, man. And if you need help with your phone, hit me up and I'll walk you through it. By the way, try hitting the volume up button, holding the volume up button, or the volume down button, and the power button. Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. See if it turns on.
No, the screen is like broken. It's got a crack through, and when it first happened, the entire screen was purple with like really small rainbow lines going across. So I know I've done damage. It won't work whatsoever.
Okay.
So
well, when you do get your new phone, let me know, and I will, for free, because they'll try to charge you sometimes at the cell phone companies. I will walk you through it for free on Zoom. You let me know that hour. I will stop what I'm doing to help you out.
Like I say, all I want is for them to, ideally I want them to plug my phone into a computer and all my apps come up, and I'll say, right, just print off everything on that one, all my appointments and stuff. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, I got it. I'm getting blown. My phone's being blown up. Sorry guys, I got to go. But I appreciate you. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Yeah. You know what's up.
No problem.
Take care, guys. GG's.
If you have any other suggestions about content, just talk about it or send it in the Discord. You guys can talk. We can talk about it. Bring your A game though. All right, bring your A game. So, all right, guys.
All right.
Peace, fellas.
Bye.
Take care, fellas.
Awesome show, guys. I appreciate everybody in the chat being so engaging, because the chat was blowing up. I know this is a big week for school and stuff, so I know that people are doing them things. But in the meantime, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure who's gonna be with me. Could just be me. Could be all of us. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I'll be here. And with that, my friends, I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Doctor is out. Peace.